Good. Comment tu fais là? Come on, little Lord. Yeah. Olelo. Wait. Abeg. Abeg, shift for me. Ah, kò yẹ kó lọ ńbẹ̀ yẹn rárá. Àtúnwò tẹ́lẹ̀. Àtúnwò tẹ́lẹ̀. Wọ́n ló máa kú sí. Nigerians, equally, before I skip, I just need to tell those ones saying one-party system is no good. It's one party ruling and driving the aspiration of Nigerians. Where do they start? You don't blame a people bailing out of a sinking ship when they have no life jacket. I'm glad of what we have, and I'm expecting more to come. That is the game. We are in a constitutional democracy. Don't forget the freedom of movement and the freedom of association is not criminally punishable. Welcome to the progressives. Sweep them clean. Fellow members, of our great party,
have the necessary equipment on ground to fight the insurgents. And I want to also inform you that right now, the insurgents are using technology to fight the soldiers on ground. A few days ago, I had a meeting with the Chief of Army Staff. The Chief of Army Staff said that he's looking for about 32 drones and he will end the insurgency. He is right. Each drone is costing about $5.5 million. Why can't we put resources so that we shall buy these drones? Let us prioritize insecurity. And another issue that we shall look into is the issue of procurement of military equipment, both hardware and software. Let us remove contractocracy in the procurement of the military equipment. Let us deal directly from government to government, so that we shall get value for money. Otherwise, most of the contractors, I'm not saying all, once you give them money, they will not even buy the equipment. And some of the monies are going into the torturous, bureaucratic melting pots of the ministerial systems. If we want to do right, we can put heads together, and this madness will come to an end within the next 6 months. But the right thing must be done. Federal government and state government must come together. We need to prioritize security, and then we need not to politicize insecurity, which is very important. The federal government has to listen to us. We shall offer our services and advice on how possibly best we can move forward.
They are using torchlight to write WAEC. Even during my time of Lanta, we not use torchlight write WAEC. It's not okay. Paper that is supposed to start by 2 is starting. They brought it by 6. No light in the school, and it's hiding. It's using torchlight to write WAEC in Unity Model School Asaba, state capital, not in a village. Live and direct. WAEC must write exam by night. What's the name of this paper? People are still writing. See them now with WAEC calculator, writing by night. After they will say Tinubu is bad. This is wickedness. Writing exam by night. The paper, they are supposed to bring this paper by 2. They stay till night. After they will say it's Tinubu. It's Tinubu that told WAEC to come. He's collecting their papers that they should go.
I will now call upon Councillor Favour as a Fed to make the declaration of acceptance of office and the oath of allegiance.
I, Favour as a Fed, having been elected to the office of Chairman of Ofo Borough Council, hereby declare that I take this office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfill the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Oh, yeah.
Chairman, I have the honour to hand to you the mace of the Borough of Watford, symbolic of the authority vested in you as first citizen and as a mark of the dignity of your office.
Oh, sorry. Mr. President, aside, what will it take for you to be convinced that there's no white genocide in South Africa?
Well, I can answer that for the President. It's for him. No, seriously.
I'd rather have him answer.
Yeah, I'd rather answer that. It will be.
Our President will respond to you. Thank you, Mr. President.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us on the around a quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So it'll take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective. That is the answer to your question.
But, Mr. President, I must say that we have, wait. We have thousands of stories talking about it. Sure. And we have documentaries, we have news stories. And that, is Natalie here, somebody here to turn that? I could show you a couple of things. And it has to be responded to.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see the articles, please, if you would. And turn the lights down. Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you, Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. South Africa occupy land. That's who we are. So we never want to do bigger. We can withdraw my membership from this useless parliament.
Yes, honorable member. Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot, kill, Namasa, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer, pa, pa.
The man of D-Day is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Pashama and Suri will not be touched. They will be touched, no one. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness.
Shoot, kill, Namasa, kill the brewer, the farmer, kill the brewer, the farmer, shoot to kill, Namasa, kill the brewer, the farmer, kill the brewer, the farmer.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, what's not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
Yeah, but, I mean, you understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets scared of, because the next week out, it sounds like a genocide over there.
So shy, so shy, so valera. Si so patula, so valera. Si so patula, so valera.
Who will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not,
If they object, they can seek refugee in America.
Now this is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites, over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. Both sides of the road, you have crosses. Those people were all killed.
Have they told you where that is, Mr. President? No, I'd like to know where that is, because this I've never seen.
I mean, it's in South Africa.
No, this rally make my blood pressure go up.
And the people who are asking a platform for him, who are supporting him.
So, you should get a filter sometimes, filter your thoughts.
And I am ready to die defending Nigeria in whatever way. When it is God's time for us to go, it is
and you
not
took my
going
time to God. You are ready to defend Nigeria. I gave you my time.
No, I'm coming.
Alexi, hold on. You already started.
What I'm saying, defending Nigerians is this.
I gave him my time and he's using it to defend Nigeria.
No, sorry. I'm sorry.
I hope that Nigeria wins. I'm never going to wish any president evil so that I can say I told you so. No, I won't wish them evil. I hope. You see, I'm not praying. There's no point. I can't pray for Nigeria to be fine. I only hope that Nigeria wins and Nigerians win. Because if you choose a dodgy doctor who has a dodgy record, who has, all sort of accusations leveled against him, to say this doctor, we think he's done this, or this doctor, this surgeon. Yes, he's a senior surgeon, he's the most whatever surgeon, but there are a lot of accusations leveled against him. If you choose him to operate on you, and you tell me to pray for you that it doesn't kill you surgery, what's the point? I can't pray. You might make it, you might not make it. My prayer won't change anything. So I hope Nigeria and Nigerians win during Tinubu's 4 years. Thank you.
People who feels the pulse. Now, everything is increasing like mad. Things places you could go with 100 naira before, you are not talking about quadruple, triple the price. I tell you, we are seeing what happening in France. It's not a threat to anybody, but it's when you hold the populace down for a while and for a long time, even goats can bite when they see no other ways that they can escape.
That's a good question. That's a great question. I don't know what is wrong with them all. I don't know what is wrong with them. Somebody asking for where you do your course and you are sure you did your course there. I agree with you. But a lot of what we hear, because you didn't hear this direct from Tinubu, because lawyers are very funny. Sometimes lawyers will say, you must not say this. I mean, you know what is happening to Donald Trump right now? Donald Trump that guy is walking himself to jail. And he's coming down to say that, it was my lawyer who said it. It was your lawyer who said it. It was your lawyer who said that you should march people to the Capitol and stage a coup. People stage coup in Nigeria. They never live to tell the story.
Okay. Children are born and put on a rubber stool. No, I tell people, Dr. Damages, you need to come, if you want to know the level of poverty in Nigeria, you need to enter the Nigerian hospital. You'll be walking at the doctor, sometimes you cry. Sometimes we use our money to give patients. So when people see doctors go on strike, I get mad. I had to leave. It's painful. You see a child that you're taking care of. After a few days, the child is retrogressing. The child is getting worse by the day because the drug you recommended, you prescribe for the child, they cannot take the child's prescription to the pharmacy. There is no money. They don't have money in their account. The little baby that is so fragile, you manage to take their blood sample. They cannot process the blood sample because the person at the lab said no, they don't have the money in their account. They will take my salary if I process this sample. So you watch the innocent baby go retrogress. What do? You take our money from your pocket and give that parent, madam, please go and put in this account. Let me see this child get better. And we're here defending thieves because they give you $5,000, $1,000. What is $1,000? Children are born and put on plastic chairs in Nigeria. Are we not ashamed of ourselves? And we'll call Obi stingy. Let him be prudent and let us have functioning hospitals. Let us have good roads. Our people are dying. Children are dying by the day. I had somebody when I was in Calabar, and when I was still a medical student, the man I used to buy something from at Amarian Market, his child was born premature. Guess what? But the child was older than the other child that survived. Why did his child die? Because the child missed the last incubator that was available. The other child that was born that was weaker had the incubator. His child did not have any incubator. They had to wrap the child and put a lamp beside him. That child died.
Oh.
And you people have the effrontery to come here and defend Tinubu article.
Oh no, it's so sad. It's so sad.
You want to know poverty? Enter the hospitals of Nigeria. You don't know nothing.
It's so
we
sad.
have to be very careful what we say. Very careful. There's poverty in the land. There's poverty in the land. A lot of poverty in the land. People die by the day.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you. We got to 80,000 followers, subscribers on YouTube. Come on, clap for yourself. I saw it. We made it. Thank you. You see, you thought I will never get that. I know. Our friends are at 800,000, 8 million. I know, but this is the first step. Next time, 800,000. I'm telling you, it's just 10%. What is it? 100% will be 800,000. You can do it by subscribing. Pim. That's it. Pim. And for those who go and unsubscribe, let me tell you, they don't tell me who you are. YouTube doesn't tell me who you are. I will have come to your house to talk to you and say, what? Come on now, let's talk. What did I do? I mean, today I might upset you, I know, but tomorrow I'll make you happy. It happens maybe once every how did Tinubu say that? Fortnight. Fortnight, come on. Thank you.
Don't forget, that state is now an oil producing state. So they now have derivation, if you are not aware. So if you want to speak for anybody, please do not defend a Kalata like a Yabelo. Please do not.
Okay, let me respond to him. 1 second.
Do not defend a Kalata like a Yabelo. Do not.
All right, thank you, Mohammed.
The people of that state.
Can I respond to him?
No.
Then go to hell. Rudolph, go to hell.
All right.
Rudolph, I've never seen this part of him before. My God.
Tinubu is a criminal, yes, of course, a categorical grade 1 criminal. The only person more criminal than Tinubu in Nigeria is probably Babangida. But he's a criminal, and is he fit for purpose? Absolutely not. Should Tinubu be the president of Nigeria? Categorical no. Is there a better option than him? That is subjective. So show me who he is.
All right. Welcome to the show. My name is Rudolph. Thank you so much for joining us. We are coming to you live from New York City. It's May 24th, 2025, and this is Have Your Say. This is a show where you have the chance to air your views on everything in the news in Nigeria, Africa, and the world. We thank you so much for joining us today. All right, it's a wonderful day here in New York City. I hope it's beautiful wherever you are joining us from. And today we are looking at several stories, as always. First one is the South African president went to the White House to meet Donald Trump. It didn't turn out the way he planned it. And we are going to talk about it. What happened? Is that going to be the standard now for people, presidents who come to the White House? How would that look like if someone like Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu is the one that is in the White House and is confronted the way Ramaphosa was confronted by Donald Trump? In Ibadan, there was a story of a trigger-happy police officer who shot a young kid who was going to take a WAEC because they were pursuing somebody. It's one of those sad stories we see out of Nigeria virtually every week. We're going to talk about that. What did we learn? How are we going to prevent something like this from happening again? At the APC, they had their meeting, convention, and they basically agreed that they're putting forward Bola Tinubu for second term and nobody is going to challenge him. Tinubu made a speech basically saying that if it's one-party system, he doesn't care that the other parties are sinking and he will not blame anybody who will jump ship, and he expects more people to jump and come to their political party, the APC. So these are some of the stories, and there's so many other ones that we're going to talk about. Before I bring people in, if you want to join us, please click on the link and do join us. We're going to have a wonderful conversation. But there's a picture I just want to show you guys before we start, which was something that I saw a few minutes ago. This is Nigeria's Chief of Naval Staff. Came out to say that we need a spiritual solution. It's needed to surmount insecurity in Nigeria. At this point, just think about this. If the Chief of Naval Staff in America or in United Kingdom should come out and tell the people of the country that at this point, we really have to go to the bishops, the voodoo priest, whoever you can get to deal with this situation. This is really sad, but that's the country we have, and we are going to look at how we ended up this way. How is it that people just open their mouth and say whatever they like, and so many other issues in the news. All right. Thank you for joining us. If you are in the studio and you want to be part of the conversation, please turn on your camera. We can bring you in. Again, thank you. My name is Rudolph. All right. Let's see. So I'm bringing in people.
Of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in view of the fact that despite very difficult times, he has been able to set Nigeria on a path of growth, confirmed by the International Monetary Fund. In view of the fact that Nigerians are grassroots people, are very excited. In view of the fact that even the members of the National Assembly and senators said they have never had it this good. The leadership of the House of Reps should join me. I want all the members of the National Assembly of the APC extraction to stand up wherever they are. I want the civil senators to stand up where they are. And you will echo what I'm going to say. Those who love you will also join. I want to move, and let it be moved, that not only will President Bola Ahmed Tinubu be a sole candidate for the presidency in 2027, but he will also be a sole candidate for the whole Nigerian population, because all other political parties have been torn into shreds. I went to my state, and I saw the umbrella at the PDP. It has over 100 holes. And so very soon you will hear, I'm not the one to break the news, but I know the national chairman has already broken the news, that everything in the South-South has collapsed for you. And that is the same thing that is happening in the nation. Nigerians are saying that because you have done a difficult job well, that it is time for us to reward you by sending you back to the presidency for a second term in office. I move, therefore, as the Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that Mr. President return, one, as a candidate of the APC unopposed, and secondly, as the next president for a second term come 2027. I so move.
All right. Welcome to the show. KJ, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Damages.
Obi, welcome to the show.
I greet you, sir. All due respect.
Nice to have you. Ike, welcome to the show.
Oh my God.
Ike, can you hear me?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, how are you?
Good afternoon, KJ and Mr. Obe. Happy to be here today.
Okay.
I greet you, sir.
I greet you, bros.
All right, so I've mentioned some stories in the news that we are going to talk about. There are a lot more, but as I do always, just let me know if there is anything that is important to you that I haven't mentioned. I didn't mention everything we have on our list that we shared with some of the people who follow us. But is there any story that you think is very important that we need to mention and be monitoring for the week? Let me start with you, KJ.
Okay, I think you've done a good job. Maybe the other story that I will have, although the court issue this week didn't really carry much, but again, that's the only other thing that I'm interested in, the proceedings of the court in concerning the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Yes, but you literally covered everything. Maybe again, there are some fresh killings in Otobi, a place in Benue State that totally ransacked the whole people. And then yesterday there was another in Plateau State. So in Yakubu Gawan's village, so that's maybe it's still developing, but the village have been sacked. So maybe again, if you have time, you can touch on that.
Okay. One of the things we didn't touch on, I didn't mention, is Natasha. The federal government is suing Natasha to criminal. They have criminal charges for saying that Senator Fabio and former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, were planning to kill her. So they are suing her, and the case will probably come up very soon. There was the Atiku Obi El-Rufai coalition. The idea that they were going to join ADC. Obi came out this week to say, I think yesterday, Obi was saying that he would run on that Labour Party. So there's this conflict in terms of what is actually going on with the opposition. Umahi, of course, said that all the 5 Eastern governors that they endorsed Tinubu for president, which we haven't heard from them, but that's what Umahi, the Minister for Labour, was saying. All right, Obi, go ahead.
Yeah, I think another thing that trended was Showore and his response to situations that concerns the polity anyway. So that trended everywhere, even up to all the news carried it, and it was like a food for thought and what is going on. So it was collaborating David Hunde's claims on him and all that. So I think somebody like Omori could not defend him again. I was disappointed. It was as bad as that. So I think that trended a lot, and I think based on the fact that he's a member of this body, I think we need to also consider it as part of our discourse.
All right, that's a good point. I think you are referring to where P2B said that people were blackmailing him. He didn't mention
He called it a chief of blackmailers. I mean, blackmailer in chief.
Yeah, and Shore responded to P2B. You know.
Correct.
All right, that's good. Ike, any issue you are following that is important to you? Very, very important to you.
Not really. I think they have mentioned from your intro. I think you presented everything, and maybe a few reminds of what KJ said. The news about what is going on in Plateau and Benue is no more a new news to anybody. It's everyday news, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sad that it's happening, but it is what it is. And also for the issue of Sowore, of a guy, you know, I think in the next 2, 3, 4 months, the remaining 5,000 people that he had as supporters, they will abandon him, you know, because people, Nigerians now have found out what this guy is.
Right.
And you don't play with obedience, because we can look for your file.
Correct.
When we come after you, there is no hiding place. So I think that the remaining few people that is following him, they're going to abandon him the next 3 months. And he's going to run away from the space, you know, because there is no hiding place for him. So all this maga is doing, you know, the people who has him and his voice and his video, people who know what he is, they will come out these few weeks, and he will run away from the space, because somebody like me, I've been saying it here, that if you want to become an activist, it's better that you become an activist. If you want to be a politician, you should be able to play politics. So
you're already discussing it too.
Okay, so
all right, thank you so much. Oscar Blackburn was reminding me of the coup in Ivory Coast. We haven't confirmed that there was a coup there. So until that is confirmed, we will wait and see what's going on in that country. Prince Akwachi, welcome to the show.
Dr. Damages.
How are you?
I'm all right. Good morning. Chief Ike. I'm not gonna call you brother Ike, now Chief. You know, say from my side, now Chief you be. And Odi, good morning. Maga KJ. How is it going? Maga. You know, you can't deny that, okay? I hope you are enjoying. I hope you are enjoying.
Yes,
we are watching. You guys have passed the budget the other day, 2 days ago. Is it yesterday? So we are waiting for the implementation.
Yes,
laughable ones, you know, laughable ones. Yeah. What do I have to add? I think I'm a little bit sick and tired of Nigerian. It's not the new news, anyways. But then I want to add, you know what is going on in Anambra right now about the what do you call it? I don't want to call it DRUG. You know, that's too much for the medicine, whatever it is.
Yeah. I have that video. Hold on, let me play a little bit of that. I can see Comrade Omoroye. He had OBE, so he's here. So we are going to hear from him soon. But let's look at the video of EMB a little bit.
All right, so this is my first time in Anambra State. I've never been here before, and a very important thing brought me here. Now, what brought me here is the extortion and what I call stealing from NAFDAC. And I want to call them out so that they will stop. Because what you people are doing here is evil and a very big extortion. And from this video here, we will put up on Abu Namo stop. There's no two ways about it. Now, what happened in this market? this is the biggest drug market in Nigeria. Am I right?
Yeah. West Africa, South.
West Africa.
Yeah.
Right. Now what happened? NAFDAC came here in February to shut it down.
February 8th.
February 8th to shut it down. This market has over 5,000 shops.
Yes.
Right. Listen. Over 5,000 shops. They locked it because they claim that they found fake products. Right. Now, after 2-3 months, the people said, please, it is not all of us that you found fake products with. You understand? Not all of us carry fake products. Why would you now lock all the shops? Which also does not make sense. But at the end of the day, these people stayed about 2 months. 2 months, 4 months, 3 months. Boys down, they spent over 2 months in their houses, nothing to do, the market was locked. 3 good months. Eventually, NAFDAC came and said, okay, you are going to pay 500,000 if you want us to open your shops. After 500, they moved it to 700.
After 2 weeks.
They moved it when they again to pass you. Now, they came and said, pay 500,000 and we'll open your shops for you. Now, this is the first question. NAFDAC, for you people to say they should pay 500,000, does that mean you are giving them a guarantee to go and produce more fake drugs? That's the first question. If truly they carry fake drugs, where are the people that you caught? Yes. Are you not supposed to prosecute them? Why the people that are selling the original drug continue their business? Yes. So,
all right, we'll stop it here. But that's very dark man in Anambra State trying to bring this to the limelight, that people should know what's going on there, which is an indictment to me of the media, the political class, and everything down there. But it's something that we should touch on when we have the time. All right, let me welcome Comrade Omori. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Demichi. It's always a pleasure. That's my voice.
Okay. So we're talking about...
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're talking about topics to discuss today, and someone mentioned your name, OBE mentioned your name, and in connection to Showore and Showere's constant take on P2B. So, but welcome. And do you have anything to say, anything that you're looking at, story that you're interested in before we go on to start our conversation?
Yeah, actually, sorry, my voice is, I don't know if I can. I lost my voice. I've been under the weather. I came on because somebody mentioned my name. Showore my man, anytime, any day. But I'm not the kind of follower that takes everything from a leader who line and sinker. I'm not the kind of follower that believes a leader is a saint and can never make mistake. Whenever he make mistake, like every human being, I will call him out. You know, the issue in Nigeria is beyond any individual. The future of Nigeria is at stake. And the opposition does not seem not to know what is ahead of them. You know, the concussion of allegation against one another is not going to move us forward. So, this is the time for them to come together. You know, first of all, deal with the common enemy of the people.
Right.
You know, everything is all about, should not be about politics. You know, I don't have any problem playing politics with issues. What have you done when you were in Anambra? What did you do? What do you have to show for, you know, being in politics? You know, I don't have issue with that. But when it comes to concussion of lies, just to score some cheap political points, I'm not a party to that. The greatest problem of the opposition today is going to be the opposition itself. It's not as if Jagaban is too strong to be dislodged, but the opposition is not ready. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Comrade Omori. So let's begin our conversation with the story of Tinubu, one-party system, and the disarray in the opposition party. So that's the subject matter. So we're going to put it all together, because what happens is that if we break these stories down to one piece, we end up not touching everything. So anybody can weigh in along the line of, we watched at the beginning where Tinubu was speaking, and he was saying that he is perfectly okay with having a one party, that they don't force anybody to join APC, that people are deciding on their own that they want to join APC. That if the opposition party, they are in disarray, it's not their fault that they are in disarray. So that they want everybody to come together under APC, and that is good, you know. Okay, let me hear what you guys think. You can weigh from either angle, the opposition, what's going on with them, or the APC. What have they actually done to deserve a second time? Is this the way they want to force everybody to vote for them? KJ, you start.
Okay, Dr. Damages, I have so much to say. So remember, you have to give us time so I know how to organize.
All right, I'll give everybody 4 minutes.
All right, thank you. So this is yeah. Now, I have so much to say because the tenets of democracy is that it's a representative government where the people have the power. And so in Nigerian democratic setting, it is now the people who have elected that have the power, and they say, they speak on behalf of everybody. They have become Nigerian God. So an elected representative who was hitherto an Agboro in a motor park in one of the states gets to the National Assembly and now becomes the most intelligent in that community. In other words, he becomes the arrowhead, the think tank. Whatever he says, people must fall in line with it. If you don't fall in line with it, you are a nobody, or you are ostracized from the society, or you are put behind bars with one fictitious, framework or the other. The question is, are we practicing democracy? And I seem to want to, agree with Orisa Bakova here, that democracy has failed in Africa. It is not a practice that we have been able to embrace. I think it's time for us to look beyond democracy and maybe evolve our own system of rule. Where, I'll give you an example. In my community, when they're looking for people who have committed, all kinds of atrocious crime, they don't, except for now that modernization has come. Before now, they just come to the village square and they say, look, so Iroko tree has been felled and people harvest it, and it's supposed to be the village square is supposed to be for the village people. So those who have harvested it should come out. If you say you will not come out, they will bring the oldest drum in the community and they make their declaration. The person who have followed this tree, that if you don't come within 7 days, this will happen to you, and the drum is sounded, bam, boom, that's the end. There's no appeal. Okay? If you need to make your own decision, if you refuse to come out, and that after that 7 days, you will see the repercussion or whatever. So, but now, because modernization have come, people have decided to become democratic, and they've taken democracy to a level whereby once you get to the office, you begin to rewrite every rule and regulation. You become the authority, no longer the state, no longer the constitution, no longer any law that holds you, holds you. Okay, you just decide what you want to do. If somebody is elected and he comes to the podium and says, what's it now? What's the word? The removal of the subsidy. Subsidy is gone, and that becomes law. Where is it done? Just before you came here, before we came onto this platform, I just was watching one of the news channels, and I was saying that the Trump's move against Harvard had been checkmate by a judge. A state judge, not even the circuit judge of the Ninth Circuit. A state judge simply said, "Hey, guy, you can't go that direction." When will it come to a place when somebody like this makes a statement and the state itself will checkmate the person, or the people will checkmate the individual? You are calling other parties in a democratic setting that their umbrellas are torn and there's no other party that can, and you are solely saying that no Nigerian should, I mean, that's the word, should contest against Ahmed Bola Tinubu because you have made him a sole candidate, and you become the god of Nigerians. This is the things we face, and I have 1 more minute. So for me, the issue here is that we are not getting any better. We are getting People like Nnamdi Azikiwe, the great Awolowo, and the Tafawa Balewa couldn't have made this kind of statement. They have never ever tried to make this kind of statement because they know that the power belongs to the people and not to you. The earlier the Nigerian people wake up, the better. Except, of course, we like it. Just like somebody made a video and said, if Africa is waiting for Nigeria to wake up, Africa is finished because Nigeria is not going to wake up. And that's the truth. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, KJ. We appreciate that. Right on time. Obi, you're next.
Yeah, thank you. I just needed to do this fast because I needed to go back. I was just on break. I said, let me quickly just hook up. I was lucky today. I've always tried to be on.
All right.
I think it's to me it's a captured state, and Jagaban is just making a fool of everybody in this country. It's just disregarding Nigerians, and we all just looking like helpless, as in hopeless, as in in a situation where a country you are beginning to build houses and fund the judiciary. They're supposed to be the third arm of government. Are supposed to be a savaging situation for us has already been captured. So, which lawyer have you seen rose up to even take any case and go to court? They won't even call the case. Natasha case will be called in 2 minutes. In fact, in less than 2 days, they will hear that case because Akpabio is involved. Exactly what we're doing here. It's so sad that they just gang up. They just think that Nigerians can't do nothing because they actually can't do nothing. Exactly what they're saying. They can't do nothing. That the team of guys just rose up and they are beginning to join the party because of the narrative around. Why? EFCC is pursuing them, and the only way for you to hide and be able to survive in your family is to be part of these people. Or else you will be singled out and you will be dealt with. Now they just recover 750 units of house, and we don't even know who this person is that owns the house, and they are hiding everything. Jagaban had Lagos, and he knew how he dealt with Lagos, so he just replicating it national, and everybody is looking and can't do nothing. This is the same people that were Nadeko, that were the people that were foremost, that were standing there to say this thing must work. And look at him, even in the whole political setting, only him stood. Only him was the one that was last man standing, that never potted in and out of any consolidation of joining the reigning party or not. That he stood there. But now he understands the power of standing in one place. That is why he's trying to nail everybody down. That nobody can even talk again. Could you imagine? Nobody can talk again in the country. Everybody just does things, and at the end of the day, he will actually be so candidate to my brother. That's what I've seen it now. He will be so candidate, and nobody will come out. Now you are planning to become to team up with another party, ADC. ADC is already having issues. They've not even announced yet that they were going to be the party. They're already having issues. Just imagine how somebody's father is kneeling down before his fellow man. It's just a shame on us as a people. Let me tell you, Nigerian, I think whether we've so bastardized or we have been we're so hungry or we're so dehumanized that we no longer have value for ourselves. And so that I imagine, does these people have adult children that they can call up and say, my kids, look at how life's supposed to be? Can they even advise their children? So that I imagine it. Like Rudolph, I saw you celebrating your daughter's graduation that day. There are some things you do that girl will ask you. You have to defend it. You have to explain to her. Now, these kids of these people, do they actually have adult kids that can say, Daddy, what is the meaning of this that you guys are doing? Just imagine it. Or they just give birth to their likes. Because if my father is like that, I would have long either disowned him or disgraced him publicly myself. So that is how bad it is that the generation that's supposed to be able to correct this old men that think that they don't reason no more are just dead there because your daddy has money. You can fly a private jet or you can fly this. You can't talk to your father. And they're all fooling themselves in the whole world. They're fooling themselves. They think they're doing politics. They're not making a fool of themselves. You can imagine fathers stand up like that and say, we will vote this one. A fellow man like you. A fellow man like you. In another country, you have to stand the queue. You have to win your election. You have to be voted to preach. Now, fellow men. Man, it's a shame on them. Akpabio just brought himself down because of money and politics. It's a disgrace. Thank you, Dr. Rudolph.
Yeah, thank you so much, Obi. Let's go to Ike. Ike, you can take it from any angle. There are so many angles to the story, so take it on.
Yeah, I think if you remember last week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, here I said, what is going on in the opposition political parties is an APC and the machinery of the government. And I don't know why we are surprised that what is going on in opposition political parties, the handwork of the government and the APC. And the so-called leaders that they have all the beginning to confirm it one by one. It started with Abadi, who said that Mr. Peter Obi want to rule Nigeria, but you cannot control what is going on in Labour Party. Yesterday, your president said that sweep them, use broom and sweep them. What else do you need to confirm what is going on in Nigerian political scene? This week also, Mr. Peter Obi, when he had a hangout with some young Nigerians in Abuja, he said it there. My faith in the hand of the government. Everybody who is pretending he don't know what is going on. It's just the hand of government. It's because of the what they have programmed for themselves. But I am one of those people. I am one of those opinions who believe that it is the political class against Nigerians in 2027. I am telling you, I've not given up. I've not given up hope 2027 because it's all this shenanigans that they are doing. It's all these people who are running to APC. It is between us and them in 2027. So anything that is going on in the political opposition is the handwork of the government, is the machinery of the government. So, and another side of it is that all this thing they are doing. Let's be honest. These people, APC and his government, they are afraid. They are afraid of 2027. They are afraid of what is going to happen in 2027. All these things they are trying to use fear strategy to tell you, oh, nothing is going to work. No political party is going to raise their head. The opposition, the coalition is not going to work. The oppositions are in disarray. Yes, we know. We know that they are, and we know where the problem is coming from. But I am telling you that it's not going to work because it's going to be Nigerians against the political elite and the APC. Let me tell you, APC is going to explode. You see what is going on? APC is going to implode, and when it implode, everybody will begin to realize that this is what is it. My hope is that the Nigerians we are thinking or we are hoping and believing that they know that 2027 is going to be a different ball game. But I am in the position that the oppositions are going to survive. Abio is talking, right? These are not people. You mentioned Umahi, your brother. Who does he speak for? Senator Umahi, governor of Umahi, to speak for the Igbos. I mean, Rudolph, you're an Igbo man. Where does Umahi rank in speaking for me and speaking for the 5 Eastern State governors? These are people who has no political value and speaking on behalf of a group of people. You saw what happened to the former governor of Delta State. He went to his village to go and campaign for his people, and the women, they chase him away. I mean, I am telling you that 2027 is going to be Nigeria and against APC and government. The political elite. They think that they will be doing everything and get away with it. But I am telling you that they're not going to get away with it. We shall see how far it goes. But I am believing in one of those people who has that opinion that the opposition political party will survive before 2027.
All right. Thank you, Ike. Let's hear Prince Akwachi. Prince.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Damages. Pretty much like I said earlier, I'm tired of Nigerian politics, but I very much assert myself with everything Chief Ike have said. However, in specific, I'm going to say this. Jaga bandits, Jagaban Ole, the corrupt and criminal president of Nigeria. Whatever he says to me is inconsequential. The only thing that pains me is most people that I know, I can never, forget them. I still give listening ear to them and not, and they're suffering. So if not, I would say whether he goes back in 2027, he doesn't go back in 2027, he's very much inconsequential where I am. He will never win clean and clear. He will always want to rig the election, and that's what it's going to be. But one thing I promise him, he's seeing what is happening in ECOWAS. In as much as we're not going to talk about Ivory Coast, but that is a very clear message that is coming. And I bet you, without mincing word, whatever happens to him, he should be able to be ready. Look at, how it is going. One question I wanted to ask is this. When we talk about Natasha and we talk about federal government suing Natasha, are we saying that the Attorney General is only for the political elites? What a shame. What a shame. How can, I don't get it. You are the Attorney General of the country who is supposed to be the Minister of Justice. And now you are suing somebody because of what she alleged. I don't know. It's very disgraceful. I don't know where that man got his law certificate or whatever it is, but whoever it is, shame on him. Shame on him. And the NBA is gonna watch him do this, using the state or the country's resources for something that does it mean that Ababio cannot hire his own lawyer? Does it mean that those ones cannot handle their own cases? A case between a citizen and another citizen. Now the federal government is inserting themselves. I'm ashamed of them. I'm really ashamed of them. Like I said, I don't have much to say. We are here. And we'll be watching. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Prince. Omori, let me just let Ovie has to run. He's always running to somewhere. Let him speak and then I'll bring you back. Ovie, go ahead.
No problem.
Dr. Lameji, you know the rules of the plantation. Once you clock in, you are in. So you're either 15 minutes or 30 minutes. So at this point, I have 10 minutes before I clock back in. So thank you for the. So let me take my shine. So go. What's your question?
We're talking about political situation in Nigeria. Tinubu's embracing the one-party structure, according to him, and then being in disarray. So go take it from any angle you want.
But first of all, I will use you, Dr. Dameji, as a point of contact to all the Democrats in the House. You guys owe us, we the spiritual members of this platform, an apology. That's what inspired that name. The original theme is the new book that just came out, written by Jake Tapa, one and only Jack Tapa, the CNN journalist and the founders of Axio, that is Alex Thompson. When people like us, they talk about Democrats, what they are doing with even before Biden run for the election, people like us, they thought that this man is not with us. But of course, we attack as the conspiracy theories, to which we wait as a badge of honor at this point. So you people should go and read that book. Every Democrat should go. It's right. Every Democrat should read that book. But anybody that actually care about what presidential democracy is all about also need to read that book. The original sin. It's about the Donald Trump, Biden presidency, how they cover him up even before he even ran for the election. In fact, they discovered that this man is no longer with us, even while he was a vice president during Obama's time. But anyway, just to give you a little bit of why I use that name. The original sin, that's the name of the book. But I mean, when I hear people they complain about a family discussion, I don't understand. They laugh. I think about 2 or 3 months ago, I asked a question. Anybody wait to say Tinubu no go win? Who go win? I think as of today, nobody never answered that question. The reason why there's no answer to that question is because nobody is actually preparing to win. APC are having their family meeting, and the leaders of that family have taken a decision that oh, this is the man we want. Una dey there, they shout. What's the problem? I don't get it. It is because politically you guys have jobless, you not get a plan. If you guys have a plan or a candidate or a policy to put forward, you guys not going to pay attention to that. These are family members, APC family members keep together and say, come on, this man is doing well for us, for our standard, and he's going back again. If you disagree with them, go and form your own and say this is the man. Like, it is very simple. But the fact that we go angry for things that don't matter, I mean, so when I hear people they complain, I just they laugh. They won't win the election. That's how the game is played. We want me to talk say Tinubu no they perform, we don't want them again. Is that what you guys are expecting? No. Even those when they criticize Bola Tinubu's son, my papa, there's a reason why not be your papa. It's very obvious. Who go come and say papa now which? Again, go and read the story about the Biden. Pretty much now, because of his son, the man age all of a sudden. I mean, the way with it's very easy why these few people, right? It is when the people they are everybody is alarmed, one party system. Nigeria now how many party system there before? Since the fourth revolution, the fourth what's not the call republic. Not be the same group of people come together form all the party, all the parties. So like, I always illustrate it with the fact that all of them, everybody will get money for Nigeria, directly or indirectly is from oil. You can't betray that process. You must be crazy to want to betray the process that made you. You see, one party system from day one. There's a wise man that says that the elephant is big enough. Make una be patient. Everybody will get your own share. Either by turn, or don't just die. The wise man said that all of us did the same one room, the same house. We are just in different rooms. That wise man, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, what he's trying to do, he's trying to bring the children away verse, come up for house, go rent out for outside. They say, Mokuna come. They say no for everyone. That's what is going on. And as I said, now because if there's anything like if we get planned, that will not be a concern for us. People will focus, just like Obi is referring to Showore. Like, una they pay attention to Showore. Person no way no fit generate 1 million votes. Una go they follow them, then they argue. That means una they the same level with that now. There's no way. There's a reason why Dr. Damage they go back and forth with us here on Yavio say. Level day, he recognize that. It's no way. I mean, you guys see linear, you see they argue for internet with people who get 2,000. It's ridiculous. Just like maybe Dr. Damage dedicate the whole session, they follow me, they go back and forth. And me will get 1,000 followers. I thought they get 70 followers. It's ridiculous. Like, I don't know how they reason at times. We do the verse, we do they argue. That's why we know they see through. Or the same thing. Buhari was accused of turning Nigeria to one party system. Goodluck was accused. Every goddamn president was from day one. If I enter to now, go accuse me of the same thing. Everybody. So it is a practice that works. I mean, Obi has done to those who not believe say this group of people working for Obi don't give you an option. Still, when I see dedicate time till they follow the people where they plan to win. Obi is only him is in the wilderness. Nobody is helping him out on the ground. When I come internet will not dominate. Before 2023, you guys have dominated. There's no competition in the internet war. Go down to the on ground. Wanna do the needful. No, when they like everybody invest because APC say na Tinubu na they want. Come on, APC family. And in their leaders they talk am. So you go first for the next 3 months. Right? Maybe they go, I mean, we all accuse Fulani of doing the same thing we are accusing Tinubu of now. So we are now we be our problem at this point, because that's why I said, instead of accusing them they are stupid, they are uneducated, they are stupid, that's an excuse we are making on their behalf. They are just literally selling us out cheaply to the outside world, and they are living the good life. We dey here the verse for ourselves. People go tell me, I say this guy don't smoke again. Yes, I have, and always, and I will always be. So, Tinubu and APC are doing everything they need to win again. That's what is going on. Every other thing that is going on is how they make sure they kill Obi presidential dream for the sake of turn by turn. That's nothing. Anything outside this now just distraction. Show what they should not be on a concern. You know, the level is very clear. Now I talk, I even though I don't agree with that, it's very clear. Look on live am, it's gone. Now they follow show, now they follow media argue against them. Me will get 1 million go so. When I don't put away me for us, I don't get respect for me, but I show what I do the problem. You see how that's how we go to Tinubu.
All right, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen. Later on.
Okay, disclaimer.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
The reason why I'm not following you to argue is that my role here is to moderate a conversation. My role.
We are saying, Dr. Damage in our grammar, all of us are the same thing with the talk. Yeah, you that means you have a position, right? So you are maintaining that position, official position.
The day you jam me where I argue, then we will argue.
Exactly. When you see Obi and Showore come together, do they argue? Because they understand saying a game. Showore na they benefit pass, because guess what? His own party will be different. Was set up to what? For distraction, for protest, for various events. That's what APC, AAC is about. I know tomorrow you go come after me when I say this, but now true. I never feel we want local government. I never feel we want police units. So prove me wrong that AAC is not for various movements and protests. That's all you people have done for over 10 years. I never feel we want community. So with the obedience. And they attack on like this because now big una. Some people, some head that talk for years say when old map carrying block us for table, picking go use and play. We not supposed to the same level. 1 million 6 million on the level they but when I don't big una self below my standard to show what level. So I go to enter on like that.
All right.
Anyway, you're welcome.
Take care. Conrad, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Damages. I've been under the weather. I don't know how much my voice will allow me. I disagree with OVA on so many grounds. I also agree with some of the points he made as far as the opposition not ready or not prepared. This is an equal bet. You've now been able to do 2 years out of your 4 years. You are here talking about endorsement of the same candidate who constitutionally has what we call a right of refusal. So it doesn't add up. You know, it's a misplacement of priority. You should perform right now. At the end of the day, your achievement will speak for you as incumbents. Not 1.5 years down the line, you endorsing the same candidate who already has a right of refusal. He's already their candidate, except he doesn't want to run. My voice is bad, you know. I don't want to stress my voice further. As for the opposition, the greatest problem they have is the opposition itself. They are not ready. If I say this, Obedient will not be happy. Obi does not seem to know what it takes to have 6.something million followers behind him. He has not been able to take advantage of that followership to the maximum. Obedience are not comfortable with this statement. They know it is the truth. But when you mention Obi, they feel Obi is a kind of messiah, a superman that can never make mistake. So that is where the problem is coming from. He's a man. You can challenge him. You can correct him. You can tell him what to do. You can contribute to his efforts. He doesn't know what he has. For those that say Nigerians are not ready, Nigerians are ready. They are prepared. Nigerians are ready. They are tired. They are ready. They're waiting for leadership. They're waiting for leadership. What Nigeria needs now is somebody that can organize them, coordinate them, and show leadership from the front. Enough of this talk, enough of the analysis of the problem. We need somebody to show leadership as the opposition. Can you imagine those that rode under the back of Obi to National Assembly? They are back, not even back to Labour, not to PDP. They are back to APC.
So, Omori, sorry, hold on. I know you were in the student union movement, and you see the people who are interested in politics. Why is it that we don't have the kind of leader that you think the opposition they need to be able to get the people, the Nigerian people, to support them, especially this time that people are suffering? Why is it that that kind of person is not there? Or is it there that we don't see it? So, for instance, your friend, let me call him your friend, or Showore, do you think that he's not the kind of person that Nigerians are looking for, or that Nigerians can identify that in him? What is going on? The same for people.
Yeah, a lot of things. I wish my voice was better. This is a very, good question. Number one, the political process does not allow for such leadership. That's why they will do everything humanly possible to divide the people along tribal, religious, and partisanship. So, number one. Number two, the people who already know the game, the politicians are playing with them, they know the game, but they are not willing to counter. We talk about tribalism every day as one of the problems we have. Now, Tinubu is in power. There is no special market for Yorubas, no special market, no special gas station for the Christian or for the Muslim. Everybody is suffering. So now that we know that this is the game, they play with us every 4 years. Instead of coming together, we know the problem, but we're not willing to get out of the problem. So really, a message is very strong and formidable. But the reason why it's not resonating with the Nigerian masses is still the same issue we discussed right now. I strongly believe if we say we are one Nigeria, it should be the turn of the East, right? If we say we fought a war, we talk of reconciliation, rehabilitation, and reconstruction. We should not be, this time be talking about somebody's ethnicity not being able to have their own share, from the federalism. I share that sentiment. But then, when if somebody like somebody is saying, I will deal with the corrupt people who led us to where we are, most Nigerians feel it's not possible. The abuse allowing of this one feel if someone is allowed to be the president, they're going to run away from Nigeria. And most Nigerians feel, considering Nigeria, the political environment in Nigeria, that is not possible. So it's nothing wrong with the message of Showore. So people will want to castigate him for talking against Obi sometimes. I don't have a problem, playing politics with issues. But when it comes to concocting lies against one another, I'm not a party to that. I will not support Showore for saying Obi went to see the Pope so that I could have a one-on-one discussion with Tinubu. That was too far. That was a propaganda taken too far. If you have to be, you were one of them. You came out of PDP. From AGA to PDP, from PDP to Labour to this. You should be able to build your party. You should not always look for the easy way. That is politics. You're talking about issues. I will subscribe to that. I give Showore kudos for forming his party. Now they were accusing. These people are accusing him of not allowing somebody else to run. And I said that by now, Obi should have a formidable platform. About 2 months ago, I said Obi was making a mistake, waiting for the outcome of the labor case in court. At the end of the day, before they know it, they might not even be on the ballot. The way things are going. Don't always look for the easy way out. Nigerian people are not ready for the kind of message Showore is preaching. And for those that say democracy is not working in Nigeria, the issue is not about the democracy. If democracy cannot work in Nigeria, no system can work in Nigeria. It's not about the system. It's about the players. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Omori. Let's get to Femi. Femi, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dr. Damages. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can speak up a little bit. We can
hear
you.
Okay. How about now?
Yeah, okay, a little bit more.
Yeah. So there's not much I'm gonna add to what Comrade Omori spoke to. I may have some slight disagreements with some of what he said, but for the most part, there's not much to add. The only thing I probably would tweak a bit is I feel Nigerians are not ready. I mean, it's been my opinion for quite a while, and I advocate for the Arab Spring methodology. Whenever we're ready, we definitely will go beyond the shenanigans that both the leaders and the followers are both involved in. As for the opposition, at this point, I don't know what they're opposing, whether they're opposing themselves, because this is definitely not the way to go, because there's still the case of who's trying to be at the head. And as you can tell from the discussions that they've been having, and there's obviously clear-cut infiltration by the APC, and in some cases, the fact that there's no ideology in any case, because all the political parties, you can easily imprint APC upon even LP the way it's going, and LP upon APC, and you still get the same results. It's almost like they're just changing gaps, and so it's going to be difficult for them to even find a defined front, because everybody is just fighting for their own purpose, whatever that purpose is. We talk about grassroots. I don't even think the roots exist, if at all the grass is still in existence, because the actual people that are supposed to be standing, I just feel at the end of the day, I don't even have much to add. I think Nigerians should just fight for themselves at this point. Someone has to probably be a lead, rise up from amongst the people themselves. It's going to that point. It's no longer about these politicians.
All right. Thank you, Femi. Kene?
Yeah. Good day, Dr. Damages. Good day, everyone. And my special greetings to Mr. Tony and my big brother, KJ. I greet you, sir. You see, I actually called in because of my brother, Omori, because I think I saw him in the dream that he would be on this show today. You see, we're talking about how to salvage Nigeria. Fortunately, we have someone like P2B that won the 2023 election, but Nigeria being what it is, the votes were rigged for that man that is in Asorok now. And somebody like Prince Adewale started running from one media house to the other, not to defend his own election. I want you to, my big brother, Omori, we are not fighting. I want you to listen. Not to defend his own vote, but to cast aspersions on P2B, to condemn P2B's claim for winning that election. Now, I want you to examine this thing very, very well. Somebody like Showore was running from one media house to the other, not to defend his own election, but to condemn P2B. While people like Atiku and P2B were in the court challenging the APC's winning. Prince Adewale, a Yoruba man, Showore, a Yoruba man, they were all fighting P2B. And then when you push them hard, they will not tell you that, oh, everybody rigged the election. Everybody was culpable. That's what they will tell you. So meaning that they were not ready to fight for salvaging Nigeria. They were not ready for that. They were not ready because their brother won the election. And that can be defined as being tribalistic. You are talking about people being tribalistic. This is where you find tribalism. Adewale, Showore, Adeyenju, Omori, all Omokri, that white goat, all of them were against P2B. Everything against P2B, not to attack a government that is ruining the country, not to attack a government that is putting hardship on the people. P2B is their problem. And it's really, really saddening to see a supposed well-thinking Nigerians rooting for somebody like Showore, a blackmailer in chief. If at this time you cannot advise yourself properly against Showore, then something is fundamentally wrong with you. Somebody that will open up his mouth and lie like a child, blackmail people the way he likes. That was how he was busy blackmailing Goodluck Jonathan. Goodluck Jonathan was kicked out of office. He went on radio station and claimed that he was part of the group that brought this guy, Buhari. When Buhari betrayed him, when Buhari wasn't performing well, he started lying again. Now, this time, to bring in his brother. I told you guys that Prince Adewale wasn't ready to become the president. He wasn't even vying for any position. He was just there as a spoiler. That Showore is there as a spoiler. Showore, whether you like it or not, is working for Tinubu. How do I know? Showore's passport was seized during Buhari's tenure. Showore could not leave Nigeria. Immediately Tinubu came in, the first thing he did was to give him back his passport. And what has been going on since then? This guy is living comfortably in a hotel, one of the most expensive hotels in Abuja. That is where he is lodged. Living his best life.
Who are you
right?
talking about?
I'm talking about Showore.
All right.
He's not ready to be the president of anything. He's just a trouble, blackmailing, street guy, making trouble up and down. And who is he making trouble against? P2B, an Igbo man. Showore, you were looking for tribalistic people, and I'm listing them for you. Showore is a tribal bigot. Prince Adewale is a tribal bigot. And I know he's a lawyer. Charge me to court. You tribal bigot, right? Now, Adeyenju is a tribal bigot. If you don't see anything wrong with Showore's consistent and insistent attack on P2B, then something is fundamentally wrong with you inclusive.
All right.
Now, P2B is not our messiah.
Your time is up.
Let me just round up. P2B is not our messiah. But we found in P2B someone that could pilot the affairs of that country to the positive direction. P2B is not the owner of Fidelity Bank. That is one. But you see, your master claimed that he's the owner.
Were you here when I condemned Showore for going too far?
If you are still standing with a liar, I cannot stand with a liar. Now, this is a moral question now. I can't stand with a liar. If you are still standing with a liar, that is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Okay. But Showore is the presidential candidate of AAC. He is the chairman of AAC. He's the financial secretary of AAC. He's the spokesperson of AAC. He's the only one organizing that party. No subordinate, no subject. He is everything. That shows you the kind of person that he is.
You can't tell me what to do with it.
No, that shows you. Hold on now. When you were talking, that you don't interject. That shows you the kind of person that he is.
Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you.
Good for nothing blackmailer in chief. That is it. That's what Showore is. And thank God, sometimes you keep doing some things, it will get to a stage where you disgrace yourself with your own mouth. Thank God he has eventually disgraced himself, and people have seen the kind of character that he is made of.
All right.
Showore is not your problem. Showore is less of your problem. First major problem, and leave the minors alone.
All right. I'm all right. Thank you. Tony, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Damages. Greetings to everybody on the platform. KJ, Kene, Omoruyi, Brother Ike, who else is there? OJ has left, and so on. If I didn't mention your name, forgive me. Greetings. Dr. Damages, let me say congratulations first for IJ's graduation.
Well
done. Your money, your money is increasing. Okay. Well, I don't think that my brother Kene should waste time on the blackmailer in chief. I think Obi has addressed that issue. There's no breeze don't blow. You don't see the underbelly of the chicken, and it's nasty. It's not good at all. So let's put that aside. But I think I subscribe with what Brother Ike said, and even Ovie. But the only thing I'd like to add is the thinking that the ruling party doesn't have issues. That is just the opposition that has issues. For me, it's not right, because put aside the fact that they are there, they are the ruling party. But if you look at the party itself, you find out too that it has its own internal problems. A lot of people have left. I can give you a whole lot of names of very, very highly placed people: Dr. Bugaji, David Mark, Leah Limoke, Amechi, Aregbe-Shola, and so on. Even the special advisor, although he's not a member of the party, to the vice president, Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed left. So the people who are within know what the problem is, where the shoe is pinching. So it's not true that APC doesn't have its own problem. In fact, what we're seeing now with a lot of people who are flocking in, eventually, just like I said, they're going to have an implosion because these are strange bedfellows, and we know why they are going there. Not because they believe that the APC is doing well. We know they are playing games with APC. And some of them, they're talking from both sides of their mouth, because some of them that we know will tell you when the election comes, we know what to do. And it's not them that is going to vote. The people know who to vote for. I think the problem, like Farogi said, is the problem is not APC. The problem is that the opposition is not united. And you can see that APC, the ruling party, is fighting. That's why they're doing all the things, that mobilizing all kinds of instruments that they can depress, money, giving people money, trying to totally dislodge opposition, which is politics though. But they are actually afraid of opposition. They are jittery. And so the only thing that opposition can do is the same way, APC was formed. If they can put their biases away and their personal, ambitions and so on and so forth, and look forward to the greater picture, APC is gone. APC is gone. Because, if APC was in power and they couldn't win Aso Rock, they were in power in Lagos State, they couldn't win Lagos State. They couldn't win the constituency, the Ashiwaju's constituency. The chairman of APC lost in his state. PDP, couldn't win in Delta and so on and so forth. You would see that the people determine these things. If they come out overwhelmingly and vote, such as you had in Lagos, where they read, APC just had 100 and something thousand. And they added and brought it up 400 and something thousand. But if the people come together, if the opposition can come together, bury their hatchets and look at the greater picture, APC is gone. APC is gone. So all these things that we see, and you see what they are doing, and some of us, fall flat for what they are doing, is that we regurgitate the same thing they're saying. No, Obi is not going to win. No, opposition cannot win. Shiwaji is going to win. That's those. Some of them are paid agents to put out that narrative, and you see it in the media. You see it everywhere. They put out those narratives so that those who actually want to vote, who believe that it's possible for things to change, we just relax and say, well, there's no need to vote. I think that what the movement has to do is to come out openly and counteract all those lies. Because there's nothing, if you place it on a platter of gold, there's nothing that APC has done. There's nothing. They know themselves that they haven't done well. So when you hear Akpabio's lies and all those things, of course, you know why he's doing that. He's working for his money. So as for all these other people, whether the guy that you mentioned that is in the SDP, their former presidential candidate, or the blackmailer in chief. They're all just hand in gloves working for the same purpose. If the opposition come together, if the League of Northern Leaders or Northern Democrats come together, and all the other splinter groups, that are planning and working, they will send these people away. They will send them away. Let me stop there. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tony. I just want to make reference to two comments. One was from Miro. It says, every Saturday you gather people on your platform for trouble. Hopefully you think of their blood pressure. Let me say that I think it's actually a kind of therapeutic experience to come here and be part of the conversation. I think that's the most likely impact. But there's a question that I want to throw. Dex, I see you. I will bring you up to KJ and other people who have weighed in. This is from Mohammed. He was saying, why shouldn't Obi put down his own ambition and allow Atiku so that APC will be booted out? So
yeah, I thought I was going to speak before Dexter.
Yeah. Well, Dexter has not. Yeah, I want you to speak. Yeah.
I wanted to also respond to my brother Tony. You see, Tony, I like your point, but first of all, let me go to what the question he asked, which is why would Peter Obi not put down his thing? Peter Obi cannot put down his ambition, because remember that the last election, the opposition did, or rather the APC did everything to write down Peter Obi's success, and they will be only able to manage it to 6 million people, with Lagos and Port Harcourt, and that's River State, falling under Labour Party, which is Peter Obi, and the FCT. It's very important that you note that. And that means that majority of the places where people are enlightened enough to want to have a change actually went for Peter Obi. Now, if that repeats itself, it means that in the next election, which I don't think is going to anyway, it means that Peter Obi may be able to carry the day. And Peter Obi, being new in the race, is more acceptable to the people of this time. I mean, the majority of Nigerian people, which is the youth and women. They believe that Peter Obi is able to bring that development that we are desiring. It's not Atiku. I have nothing against Atiku. But I'm saying at this time, if we are sincerely thinking that Nigeria should go forward, that ticket should go to somebody who knows exactly what he wants to do, and not somebody who is coming to do trial and error, as any other person would. So now it has to also do with somebody who is visibly somebody who wants to give out his rights, not looking for money. Peter Obi has clearly shown that he is not interested in making money. By the way, the guy has been a billionaire since he was in secondary school. So money is not the issue here. So it's service. And tell the truth, if I was Peter Obi, I would dust my shoes and go and enjoy my beautiful wife and my money. I will not even bother myself about Nigeria, because sometimes you cry so much and people think there's something for you to gain. And that is the reason why, if you notice, the Southeast, we actually don't grow looking into coming to government. Rather, we want to build our business and move on with our lives. If you people want to be helped, we'll help. If not, well, the only reason why I think the Igbos are in the race for this thing is because you guys are not giving us airports, and not giving us seaports, and giving us good roads. If those things were available in the Southeast, I'm telling you, you will not see any Igbo man who will come to the center to ask for position. Because that's not how we're created or how we roll. Having said that, I want to also say to you, Tony, that you see all that is going on. I wish that is how it's going to end. What you are looking at right now is a clear northern politics. Okay, they are going to put all of you in disarray. They are going to make you run helter-skelter. Meanwhile, they are mapping out the best candidate to shoot down, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Just watch. Even the Tinubu making noise and all this, what is going, the deal has not come yet. The North is not yet ready to play into this narrative we are putting down. Okay, remember that Akpabio sitting there was also a contraction of the North. It's not because he won. Okay, it's not because he's supposed to be there. They also have that card on their plate. So when the team starts moving toward the direction of now it's time for us to begin to form party, you will see. And mark my word, they may be shooting forward people like Dati Ahmed because they know that the youths are with him. at least part of that vote came from him. They may be shooting other people who we were not even looking at right now, who they not can sell as somebody who is progressive and who is liked by the youths. All those they are keeping to their chest. But what they are doing now is the chess game. They're using all their what you call in the chess game, all their pawns. They are sending them forward and they are speaking in every direction. But at the end of the day, they are all going to collectively come together and they take all of us the direction they want. The only way we can avoid this if the Southwest will agree to work, with the East. If that doesn't happen, my brother, tell the truth. Not even the David Mark of this world or the Sarakis of this world can bring PDP to the point where they can be a contender in 2027. As we're talking, I think the results already been, they're looking for how to make it. All these things, so at the end they will say 20 million people came from the new party and joined APC, and that's why the numbers have swollen. That's what you can say, because I've seen the things happen now. People are declaring everywhere. Even the stupid governor of Akwa Ibom State, who said he can never leave PDP because of his godfather. Today, he's saying to his commissioners, if you don't leave to APC, well, you have problem. You have to leave the government. And then because people are hungry, they're going to leave. They're going to leave en masse and follow. And vis-a-vis in the East, none of the governors in the East, even Alex Oti, we can't even trust where he's going now. The only reason is that we think that Alex Oti may act on, in the interest of the East, of Abia people, not because he's going to remain wherever he is. I don't think so, and I wouldn't advise him to even remain there, because up to now, Labour Party don't have any way forward. Up to now, PDP can't even say we expel Wike. They can't even say it, and people are thinking that PDP can win election when you can't even deal with Wike. Wike, just tell him to go. You expel him. They can't do that, and that is the party you think will win election. Okay, and then don't kill yourself. Sorry, I will say this, and this is my last point, Rudolph. APC is being led by a crook who, for him, money buys everything. Look, if we were good politicians, I'll give example of Rivers State Governor. When you knew that these people are coming for you, you have the state purse. You couldn't use it to free yourself. Now, a man who is not even a member of your state is using the state purse to maintain the same thing you couldn't deal with. That's the same thing what's going to happen. These people know how to beat money. They will price you to the point that you say, okay, you give up. And this man will take the money and give you people and get what he wants. That's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be very transactional. Money. Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you,
just 5 seconds. Let me add to what KJ stated. KJ, I think your permutation when it comes to the northern chess game of a team would have been possible 4 years ago. But from what we know today, the north itself is divided. It's divided between the Fulani against the Hausas, and other ethnic groups in the north against the Fulanis. And mind you, most of these presidential candidates or top politicians from the north are all Fulanis. And the Hausas own the population. Hausas and other ethnic groups in the north, they has the population, and they are against these Fulani supposed leaders. So Atiku, El Rufai, and the rest are confused right now. They just want to prey on P2B, to use P2B's political capital, to get their way into the presidency. They are confused. They know that their number, the Fulani's number there, can't get them there, and they cannot continue to use the outside. The outside youths are everywhere online, sensitizing their people. They are on the street, they are in the mosques, they're in the churches, sensitizing their people against this Fulani, Atiku, El Rufai, and the rest. So they are very confused right now. If I were P2B, never make such mistake. Insist to be the presidential candidate that you are. They should rather be the one to join your boat. Do not even. You can do without these people. You did without them. So who are they right now? You can still do without them.
All right. Thank you, Kenneth. It's welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. thank you. Yeah, thank you everybody that's contributed. On the whole shenanigans going on. I think first of all, I don't think we should be too be too worried about, I mean, right now, the whole political climate. Because, like they say, 24 hours is a very long time in politics, you know. The way we are thinking, I don't think Peter Obi has 6 million votes waiting for him. And I don't think Bola Tinubu has votes.
We can't hear you very well. You don't think what? Peter B has what?
I don't think Peter Obi has any 6 million votes waiting for him in the kitty. And I don't think Bola Tinubu has 8 million votes waiting for him in the kitty. None of them have votes. These votes are going to be cast by people. And even if they want to rig, rigging machinery can only work when people vote. You know, so I think it's an open game, you know, and the way people say, oh, Peter Obi should not follow these people, politics don't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You know, we as much as we want it to be romantic, you know, just take it like a marriage. If you get into a marriage, of course, it looks like it's very sweet, but when you get to the thick end of things, it's never the same. It's not actually as you on the outside where you want to just have these romantic ideas that, oh, it's going to be like this, it's going to be like that. You know, politics is about only you win in politics when you can make your friends your enemies, you make your enemies your friends, you make your enemies come and work for you. You have to cross the divide. You know, you have to walk across the divide. And anybody that wants to rule Nigeria, as much as you have good intention, the person must have that. And yes, we have very bad leaders. We have to agree to that we have bad leaders, you know, but good people have to step up, you know, like Dr. Damages has to step up, other people on this platform. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Let me tell you why. Dr. Damages, we're doing a big disservice to. I've been thinking about this recently. I've been telling everybody I care to know that I see in the Western world. You know, no black man will get, the black race will never get the recognition it deserves until it can set its home right. It will never happen. We can go outside and be doing very well in the Western world, but the black race would never get the recognition it deserves until it can set its home right. And it makes no sense that our best skilled personnel come to the West, give our best years to the West, and all we do is complain about what's happening back home. And I was telling a close friend of mine that is in UK presently, and he's a nursing professional. I said, look, get together, get a team of 100 of you nurses. Just say every year, 3 weeks, visit hospitals in Nigeria, a team of 10. Go and audit those hospitals. Get them. Look, we need to build our home. And until we start thinking that way, we might go outside and be successful. But the black race as a collective, the way an American is respected outside, the way the Caucasian skin color makes way for them, we will not make a way for ourselves. So people like, and let me tell you why I'm saying this. I felt a little bit bad this week when I saw the whole Showore attack on Peter Obi. And that is somebody that has been in forefront of, people have been believing that, maybe this guy is genuine. But, you know, when he did that attack on Peter Obi, people started reacting. Is this guy really, are you sure he's not part of the whole rigged system in Nigeria that you plant people, the evil leaders prop up other people? You know, the evil leaders you create splinter groups to just distract the populace. You know, I started thinking. And so think that if we, as a people, if people here are coming on this platform and we are talking with all our brilliant and fantastic ideas, but we cannot put our hand to the plow. We can't put our hand to the plow to work. Then we don't deserve a good harvest. That is the truth. If you don't put your hand to the plow to work, then if they give you rotten tomatoes, you might as well take it. There's no need to say, the tomatoes are rotten. Meanwhile, you can farm. You can put your hand and farm and get your own tomatoes. No, it's bad. Oh, for what? Bullshit. That's rubbish. We need to put, and so people like you, Dr. Damages, you have a large following here. You have to start thinking how carry this thing, whatever it is you're doing, and carry it back. Look, even from local government chairman, you know, we have to carry back that leadership, because until the black, when you can't mention one nation in Africa, black controlled nation. Africa, as big as it is, you can't mention one black controlled nation that can lift his head above water. Lift his head and the world will listen. None. Why should we get respect? China 40 years ago was not better than Nigeria. But today, if China speaks, if China cough, everybody will be afraid. Why? They stood up. They didn't go hand in hand, go begging, give us reparation, we deserve reparation. No, they didn't go to the Japanese, oh, you invaded us, you have to pay us back. No, they didn't do that. They invested vocational skills. China, #1 today. Do you know that Apple, they are moving factories to India, but the parts are still made in China. The components, China invested in vocational skills. Nigeria is sitting on a gold mine. The youngest population in the world between the ages of 15 to 35 is domiciled in West Africa, Nigeria, over 70 million. And we are just, we are. So people like us that know this, it's time for us, because if we don't do that, we are setting, that is what we are going to create. Look, it's either way. It's either you create a positive energy or negative one. We'll create a tsunami. We'll destroy the whole of. Look, if Nigeria empties, and Shetima has said it before, if Nigeria implodes, that spillover will reach America. That is the truth. The spillover will reach Japan. It will just, because the African nations, can they, is it Niger? Can Niger take any? Can Niger, look, just take only 5 northern states. Can Niger accommodate them? Then ask yourself, 5 western states, can Benin, Togo, Ghana, can they accommodate them? Senegal, it cannot. 5 southern states, can Equatorial Guinea, Cameroon, DR Congo? Oh, no, it won't happen. So the whole of Europe will just, that's what will happen. So it's on us. We can either turn Nigeria the same way the Chinese government turned their system around from being a comatose to being a treasure today. We can do it, and that is vocational. All this idea of people going for white collar jobs, that is rubbish right now. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dexter. Righteous Man, let's hear from you.
Yeah, Dr. Rudolph, good evening, and all the panelists and those in the commentary section. Happy weekend. The issue that I have to mention here, which is very, very important, is the issue of Sowore. Since the inception or the formation of his political party, Sowore had been the presidential candidate. He had never allowed another person to be the presidential candidate. Sowore is a dictator, and Sowore is working for those who are paying him. And that is why every second of his life he devoted in attacking Peter Obi. Well, that's just by the way. As regards to 2027 general election, especially the presidential election, I want to say, based on the information I gather around here, I live in Nigeria. I travel out of the state where I live, Lagos State, sometimes to the east, sometimes to the middle belt. And I speak with ordinary people. I meet, I eat with them. I try to sample their opinion. And I can tell you, take it to the bank. There is nothing like the division between the Fulanis and the Hausas. That Islamic religion unites them, even when there is political disagreement. The Islamic religion unified them and bring them as one. Now, why am I saying this? Some time ago, I was in the north, and I asked the yam sellers, potato, those who harvest and sell, and they promptly told me that in 2027, they will not vote for Bola Tinubu APC. I am saying the ordinary northerner, the core north. I'm not talking of the middle belt. And if you know how Nigerian politics is being organized and run, I think this is where I will agree with those who says that Igbos doesn't know how to play politics.
anyone pushing Peter Obi to be a sole candidate next year, 2027, means the person have not read the Nigerian politics and understands it. Peter Obi, as much as I like him, as much as he's a disciplined man, can't win election in 2027 unless Peter Obi pile with Atiku Abubakar. That is just the truth. As of today, it's still not 80% convincing to a northern Muslim that Igbo man will not divide Nigeria or betray Nigeria as a nation. The only way that conviction will come is when an Igbo man like Peter Obi, who partially they accept and know that is real, serve under a northerner like Atiku. If Peter Obi and Atiku have a joint ticket in 2027, APC will leave Aso Rock. Take it or you leave it. But if Peter Obi is being pushed to go and run as a lone candidate, Peter Obi is not a violent man. He doesn't have such resources like Atiku. The Igbos are not violent by nature. And whenever anything happens, they say they leave it to God. But the Northerners will not leave it to God. And they have the foot soldiers to march down to anywhere that is required without being afraid of being killed. Okay? And handle whatever that need to be handled. So the five southeast states cannot deliver presidency to Peter Obi. The best way is for Peter Obi to pie with Atiku. Atiku has a commanding role in the north. Atiku has an political penetration even in the southwest here and in the southeast. So my advice is those who are pushing Peter Obi to run alone, they should please read the Nigerian politics. It is not the Western politics. We are not civilized yet. He has to parley with Atiku in order to win 2027. I am telling you, 80% of Nigerians are not happy with APC and Tinubu, and they are ready to vote them out. But remember, there is rigging, and that rigging can only be stopped when there is a combination of Atiku and Obi. Thank you.
Righteous man, before you go, is the price of rice coming down?
Generally, inflation in Nigeria, what you are reading on newspapers or hearing from televisions are government manipulated figures. Those of us that goes to the market on daily basis to ascertain the prices of things, I can tell you authoritatively, I live in Lagos. My business is in Lagos. There is no price of any food item that is coming down. Those ones you are hearing that is coming down are the one some politicians imported and push it into the market so that they will give a pass mark to Tinubu in his midterm record or whatever. How about the 7 trillion naira that was padded in the budget? Nobody is talking about it. There is no food item that is coming down. Nothing. Inflation is high. Workers are being retrenched. Businesses are closing down.
Righteous man, did you check Kulata's shop? Because he's selling rice for a bag of rice for 55,000. Did you check his shop?
He should send me his address. Kolata, as far as I'm concerned, is an agent of the government. He's being paid. He's one of those people that are being paid. Because I don't know why he lives abroad. Those of us that live in Nigeria here, that goes to the market every day, we say something in this platform. And Kolata, who is enjoying the Western civilization and their good governance, will be countering it. That guy, for me, I see him allegedly as an agent of the government. And he's not thinking good for Nigerians. He's one of those that are enjoying the Western life, and he's over there castigating Nigerians that are suffering here and calling us names. It's just a pity.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Righteous Man. Let me. I have. So, Righteous Man, what you're saying is that the stories in the papers are not factual. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes. What I'm saying is this. Just before I came in here, I joined the program when you were doing your intro. I was in a shop. I went to because I am the one that purchases what my family uses. Sometimes weekly or monthly. I am the one that goes to market. And I'm proud to say it. I am a true son of my father. I goes to market to buy what my family will eat. The prices of things have never changed. What you are hearing on TV, people have been bought over. Nigerian journalists are not going to the streets to find out how Nigerians are feeling and the cost of living. They only work on what government supplies them. How can you tell me that inflation has reduced to 23.something%? How can you say that? When a packet of sugar, St. Louis, we were buying 800 naira, is 3,500 naira now. And you are telling me inflation has
Hold on. Righteous Man, hold on. Rudolph, yesterday I was listening to Ruwani Lukman. I don't know if you know him. The renowned economist. And he was asking a question. He said, these figures are manipulated figures, just like Righteous Man said. Because he said, you are saying that inflation, food prices are down in Lagos. Lagos don't produce any food. Then you say, in the analysis they gave, states that produce food, the food prices are high. States that don't produce food, the food prices are low. And he said, look, even by mere looking at just looking at the figures they've given, you know that they are manipulating it. And he said that the inflation rate is almost at 50% in Nigeria. That was his own word.
Yes.
Economist. I'm not an economist. He said everything you
Yeah,
see.
that was Bismarck. Bismarck,
Yes,
Rwani.
yes, Rwani Bismarck. That's what I said. Bismarck. That's what he said.
All right. So what we're going to do is, Righteous Man, that's one of the things we had in mind this year at the beginning, that if we have resources together, we are going to have people that could help us every week, give us on the ground report about things. But newspapers, like the one I share now, newspapers are reporting that I'm having computer problem here, just in case you guys are not seeing it. The newspapers in Nigeria are reporting that the price of rice is dropping. But according to Righteous Man, that is not the situation on ground.
Righteous Man is right.
We get
Yeah,
all right.
Righteous Man is correct. Forget about those propagandas on those media that speaks for the presidency. They are all liars. When you go on
You can
ground,
even look at Shewu's program on channels. He dealt with this same issue not too long ago, like 3-4 days backwards. He dealt with this issue. And it was extensively discussed. So the problem here is that some people just come and make statements. You are saying we are like just like
we should learn. We should learn to ignore Kulata. He's the cheap propagandist. He has never said something that is truthful here. It's not factual at all.
Okay.
That's Kulata for you.
All right.
Okay. Sorry, before I drop Rudolph, one of the guys that work with my wife is a northerner. He just returned back from the north. He's from Castina State. He returned, I think, 3 days ago. My wife sent money so that he can buy some of these food items for the family from the north. What this guy was able to buy was only onions. Can you believe that? He returned the money given to him to buy yam and potato and ginger. Look, one small ginger now is 500. Just little one. So anybody telling you that inflation is down, that the cost of living is gradually coming down, is a liar from the pit of hell. In fact, we are going to show them that we are Nigerians and we're ready to take this country back 2027. I've started my own campaign already. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Stay humble. Welcome to the show.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, initially when I saw the headings, Ramaphosa and Trump, I thought, what a waste of time. Yeah, but I'm coming here I'm saying that we are really talking about the Nigerian situation. It gladdens my heart. So yeah, several submissions have been made. Yeah, some very germane, some really laughable, because especially people that postulate that if so and so does not run with so and so, that means there is no headway. Look, the thing is not about shouting or age or anything. It's about reading. You really have to read and read wide to know this game. So to set the record straight, what do Nigerians want?
Stay humble. We can't hear you. Your line is not good.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, try again. If it's not good,
freezing. So if you can go out and come back, it will work better.
Did you change your service?
It's frozen. Why don't you sign out and come in?
Yeah, come back. Stay humble. Let's bring in Odi. Welcome to the show.
I think after Odi, I need to speak about the issue of Sowore because I have not spoken anything about it.
Odi, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Damages, and thank you for bringing me, and hello to everybody on the show and on the comment session. Well, it looks like Ike read my mind. I just came here to talk about Sowore.
Go ahead.
Because I know he's your friend, Dr. Damages. And I'm very happy you're here. If you can, is it linked to some secret service from the West? Does he have some links? Because I've been watching the man. I've spoken about him. Some people are like fanatical about him. I know that David Hundeyin made a very good report about him. And I think we need to start asking ourselves questions. What's his role in the Nigerian political system? When people say that he was instrumental, and he said it, in removing Goodluck Jonathan, I'm not his fan, but he's not been instrumental. His job has been to make sure that we don't have good governance in Nigeria. Everything he's doing is to make sure that P2B doesn't have one hand or one leg in Aso Rock. But he pretends as if he's playing around with Tinubu. When he said and we need to know what does he have? Has he ever done an asset declaration? Where does he make his money from? Because that man, we need to start scrutinizing his dealings now. Someone said, I think it was one of your friends, in this show, Dr. Damage, that said, oh, the show is from Ishekiri or something. But someone can correct me. I thought he's from Ondo State.
He's Yoruba man.
He's a job from Ondo State.
Is he not from Ondo State? No, hold on. Is he not from Ondo State?
He's from Ondo State.
Why are we hiding? Hold on now. Why does he keep hiding the Ondo State part and promoting the job part? So the idea, look at Sowore's behavior. Sowore is a full Yoruba man, and he should own it, and he should be proud of his heritage. And the idea, we saw him with what's his name, the NSA, right? The security advisor to Tinubu. New Ribado, where they were hugging and kissing.
So he genuflected for New Ribado.
And this same man keeps telling us revolution now. This man, if you go for revolution now, he will stab you in the back. Oh. What did he do to the kids that did NSAS? We need to start. What was his role in sabotaging NSAS? We need to know our enemies. And now at least we now know who he is. And people who know about him need to speak up, or they will remain silent forever. I'll end my comments now. I have more stuff to say.
All right. Thank you so much. I was actually looking for Shore was in my class, I think, this year, I believe, and it was recorded. So as part of the conversation in my class, he spoke to students, my students. This is a post-colonial African history class. And I wanted to share the video, the link, so that you guys, if you have time, go and watch it. I asked him several questions. One of them is the question you asked now. I said, the international intelligence agencies, have they approached you? I thought I could easily, we didn't cut the video, so I thought I could find the answer he gave and play it for you guys. I don't want to be answering for Shore. I know him. I'm not in a good position to do that. And my goal is to bring him back on the program, and you guys will be able to have opportunity.
But the news has it that Ford Foundation funds are Shore.
Not just Ford Foundation. It's not Shore. It's the Sahara Reporters.
And Shore owns Sahara Reporters.
Yeah. So he gets funding.
The tendency of being compromised or working for the interests of the whites is there. And this is somebody that wants to be president.
All right. So we will get him back here, and he will be able to answer some questions that you might have. I'm not going to speak on his behalf, but I want that video to be anybody who wants to know more about. We were able to ask questions. I asked questions, and he answered them. So that would be a good place to start, including where he's from. You know, he has answered that on this program several times, and I know I did. People asked that question when he came last time. All right.
Did you say you're posting the link?
I'll post the link. Yeah, once I get it, I'll post it on this platform. Thank you, Odi. Let's hear from Ike.
Thank you, Dr. Damages. I don't want to go deep like my brother Odi, but I just wanted to make a comment that I believe that Omori will be listening from the background. And I think maybe probably if Omori has the ears of Sowore, I think my candid and honest advice to him is to go talk to Sowore, you know, so that he can be able to understand the reality on the ground. When we were making the intro, I made a comment here that for all these years, 2023, Nigerian youths and Nigerians decided to overlook Showore for all his antics about Mr. Peter Obi. But I think that the last 2 weeks he has started to go too far. And I said when I'm making an intro that in the next 3 months in Nigerian politics, he's going to disappear. Because people who think like him or people who know him that have decided not to say nothing. But this last week, what he did concerning Mr. Peter Obi, he has angered so many people. Even people who hate Mr. Peter Obi to the last point, but have decided to take it upon themselves that they're going to destroy this man from 2027. Because this is not what his politics is supposed to be. So I think that my brother Omori, who may probably has it, I should advise him. He should stop talking about Mr. Peter Obi because Mr. Peter Obi is not his problem. He knows where his problem is. He knows the problem of Nigeria, right? So my brother, righteous man, I've just said what is going on. He's in Nigeria like he's always in Nigeria. So he should know where he should direct his attacks. All these unfounded attacks and blackmailing of Mr. Peter Obi, I don't know where probably like people are asking questions. That's why I'm saying people has beginning to ask questions. That's why I just said from the beginning that he thinks that he is smart. He thinks that he knows how to play this politics more than any other person. But he has put himself in a very hot spot that people who would have didn't want to, put in trace in him have decided that, okay, they were thinking that this man is for Nigeria. That all this thing he was doing, they were thinking that this man is really for the interest of the common Nigeria. But now, what is really going on? So there are people now looking after him. So I just want to tell my brother if he has his ear, he should talk to him because is too much. And the issue of opposition or alignment to P2B and Atiku. Listen, any alignment between Mr. P2B and Atiku shouldn't talk about contesting election. Listen, I am one of those people. The presidency of Nigeria should remain in the south. It is not negotiable. It is not debatable anywhere. If he wants to be a true Nigerian, he should bring out a candidate from the north that will run with Mr. P2B. But if he is thinking, he himself is thinking of running an election, which political party even does he belong right now? Because the soul of PDP has been taken away. So I personally believe that I want coalition of political parties of like minds. But if Atiku is thinking, he should use his political clout, he should use his political base in the north and in the west or in the east, bring out a candidate, a northern candidate that you think that will represent what you believe in, to run with a Mr. P2B. Because if you are telling me, Mr. Ike Alamefle, today that Mr. P2B should drop his 6.1 or 2 million vote because of Atiku, no, it doesn't work, because he does not belong anywhere. He doesn't even have any political base right now. So I am for coalition. And I want the political like minds of Nigerians to do what they did in years back. But I am for the opinion also. Mr. Peter, listen, today is 24th of May 2025. Any day Mr. Peter will be wake up in the morning and say that he's going to be a vice presidential candidate to anybody, his political career is going to die that day. This is me speaking. Any day he will stand before Nigeria and say, I've decided that I'm going to be a running mate to any politician in Nigeria. The political career of Mr. Peter Obi is going to go. He's going to evaporate like air. That day he spoke, he's going to evaporate in Nigeria. So this man, do you know this man? He knows what is following him. He knows the crowd that he has. He knows the armies that he has. So we want a better Nigeria, but we can't. It's not the turn of the north. They started that politics. We're going to play that politics to the end. Atiku, yes, you want to work with Obi. Give us your candidate that is going to be the vice president. Chikina. Anything outside that is not going to work. Mr. Peter Obi will run as a sole candidate. If he loses, so be it. I don't believe it. I don't believe this kind of political compromise in Nigeria. Every time the people, KJ just give us the political politics of the north. Yes, we agree. But let people not think that Mr. Peter Obi is not intelligent. Let people not think that this man doesn't know what the position he finds himself in Nigeria presently right now. He know that what is going on. He holds the key, and he cannot surrender that key unless we say so. I end it like that.
All right. Thank you, Ike. Let me hear from Humble Prince, and then we take a break, change topics. We have several other topics that we want to get to. Stay humble. Welcome.
Right. So to start with, all those 6.1 million, 8 million, this and that, all those figures you guys are banding about, they are not real. They're just concocted figures. Yeah, I think more than 30 million people voted in Nigeria in the last presidential election, and those figures were not represented in what we had finally. Probably up to 40 million voted, if I would say. So yeah, I don't believe in all those figures. Yeah, so I would say that the northern political establishment, I think they have left Tinubu. They are done with Tinubu, and they want to crawl back to power. All right. So they are not unhappy because the masses are suffering. No. They are unhappy because they are not in power. You know, the likes of Atiku, the likes of Malam Nasiri and El-Rufai of Kaduna. You know, they don't care about the masses. You know, they don't care about the suffering. They just want to get back to power, and they have their boys everywhere. Um, they have their boys online. They have their boys, you know, everywhere saying, "Oh, that if Peter Obi wants to get to Asurok, that he must partner with Atiku Abubakar." Peter Obi will not partner with Atiku Abubakar. You know, will not be vice presidential candidate or running mate or whatever you call it with Atiku Abubakar. You know, because that will kill the hopes and aspirations of millions of Nigerians who are their real target. They don't care about Nigerians, really. What they care about is just to get to power. You understand? Peter Obi will not facilitate that. The northern political establishment see Peter Obi as somebody that will galvanize the votes for them to get back to power. They just want to use Peter Obi, you know, because they know that they don't have anything. The last time that Atiku Abubakar ran in 2023 under PDP, they had all their structures in quotes, you know, where they get the figures, whatever votes they get. Now he doesn't have the PDP, he doesn't have the governors, he doesn't have Delta State resources again to use. So the only thing he's hoping on is P2B. P2B running with Atiku might bring, you know, just some transient political game, might bring, because the logic that people are putting forward is that, you know, that they're not, you know, can use violence to get back power. But you cannot match Tinubu if you are banking on violence and rigging. Tinubu will win you hands down. You understand? The only thing that can defeat Tinubu is the will of Nigerians, the determination of Nigerians. That determination of Nigerians will not be powered by Atiku Abubakar. Tinubu's men will finish Atiku. If Atiku runs tomorrow, they have his dossier, they have everything about him, they have their media, they will finish. Atiku will not go anywhere. If you think that because Peter Obi pulls the crowd, if he runs as Atiku's running mate, that they will defeat Tinubu, Tinubu would gyrate back to Asurok because his men will finish Atiku. Atiku has no moral capital. You know, he has even zero political capital now. The only thing that can remove Tinubu from power is the coalition of Nigerians, the willpower of Nigerians. And that willpower is coalesced in Peter Obi. Thank you very much.
All right. Stay humble. Thank you so much. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we talk about what's happening at Ramaphosa. Some people don't want to hear that, but we have to talk about that because it has implications for our own country, Nigeria, and the rest of the world, and all the other things that Trump is doing. Also, in Ibadan, we had that incident where a student going to take WAEC was killed. So we are going to talk about that and so many other things. So let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Afrikaners who left South Africa, you all know that it's a fiction, it's drama. You know, America with drama is #1. That thing is Muvango. I don't know what is Muvango in Africa. It's just a drama. If those people are farmers, it means there are 49 farms available. Why are we not expropriating them? Because they've abandoned them. But why is the media not telling us? Because they say these are farmers. Why is the media, through its own investigation, say to us, this picture you see is a farmer at this. They are not farmers. There is no one who left farming here in South Africa. I suspect that those whites were these ones who were looking after cars at the parking lot. They were attending to cars and they went to fetch them there. They can't live. They will never live the kind of life they live here in South Africa anywhere else. No Afrikaner will leave South Africa for America. It's not true. We're demanding our land. We're saying let's share this land. Let's all work the land. Because we can't, when we're asking for food, and say no, you're committing crime by asking. We're having a robust debate on land in South Africa. And that must never be used to silence us by America.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for hanging in here with us. We're going to switch gears. We're going to talk about Trump, South Africa, the Afrikaners that came to America. We tried to put them all together. I know it's a wide topic, but it's important that we discuss this. That could have been the president of Nigeria coming to the White House to meet Trump and go through what Ramaphosa went through. But beyond that, we want to look at the antics of Trump, what he did. We can also include the dealings with Harvard University, which the government is trying to stop from getting students, international students, from coming into the university. I don't know. Let me see where I will start. I will start with you want to be the first to go?
No, I was even the next online. So,
all right,
you shared a video of Malema, right? The South African supposed freedom fighter. But I for a very long time, I see the guy as a noisemaker. I see the guy as not just a troublemaker, but an instigator. Instigator in the sense that we've had a series of I don't want to call it genocide, right? But I would say it's xenophobia or xenophobic attack on foreigners, especially Nigerians. This same guy will come out and make noise, and nothing will be done because he doesn't even have the power, right? But see, if you are attacking a government and your attack on the government is not changing anything, is not effective, I will just call you a noisemaker. If you don't know how to hold the government to ransom and to make sure that what you ask for is given to you, you're just a noisemaker. So Malema is a noisemaker, is an instigator, is a troublemaker. Now, talking about the South African president's visit to the White House, you see, this is the kind of thing that we're talking about. Why are you coming to the White House in the first place? Do you owe anyone any explanation on how you run your country? Why must you come to Trump to explain yourself? I don't even know his reasons for coming to the White House, right? This is the kind of, this is how we belittle ourselves. We make ourselves worthless before this. Somebody yesterday said that, okay, I don't want to use that word, but see, you make yourself look worthless or look incapable of running your affairs in your home. So I will fault the South African president for coming to the White House to even explain how he run his country to anybody, because I've never seen an American president go to any African country to explain to them how they run their country. See, the way I look at this today is very simple. You run your country, I run my country. I don't have to explain anything to you. And for the white people that claim that they were being attacked in South Africa and their land being taken, who owns the land in the first place? Who is the owner of those lands in the first place? Your forefathers came to another man's land, buy them, and take up their land, and the children are not grown now. They say, you know what? You have to bring back those lands that you took from our ancestors. What is wrong with that? If you're a responsible person, it's very easy for you to just surrender the land, right? If you're someone that has moral character, I think what you should do is say, you know what? Okay, can we take this little? You take this. Why are you running your mouth as if you own the land? Are you a black person? I know that African land is filled with black people with this color, right? That's not your land in the first place. And Elon Musk is there instigating falsehood, right?
Okay, hold on. For this conversation,
black people have been attacked.
For this conversation, let me guide it. So let me ask questions so that we will achieve more than people saying anything they want. So U.S. trade with South Africa, the total is $20.5 billion. $20.5 billion. So it's a lot of money for South Africa, more than half of our whole budget, just with one country. So with something like that, if you are the president of South Africa, you get up and make sure that you continue. Your country is not going to lose. Sometimes it's easy for us who are not politicians, who are not in this position, to say things because we think it's easy. If a country like Nigeria, if we lose half of this money, actually 20 billion, if we lose that, we collapse.
Now, personally, I have problem with the trade. The trade is what I have problem with. I don't know what's the kind of trade that South Africa does with the US, but all I know is that it must be something related to resources, right? Why can't you take care of your resources in the first place? Why must you take the raw material or the raw product to another man's land to refine, and you call that a trade? That is what I've been against, that kind of trading in the first place. Do you understand? So my point is, take care of your activities, organize your home. If you have something to sell to the world, bring it out to the market, and they will buy it because you have it. They don't have it. You have the monopoly. They don't have it. If you have gold, for example, you get the machine to refine the gold, bring out the finished product, and sell to the world. Why must you be dependent on another to refine your gold for you? I'm using gold as an example.
Okay, one other question before we move to other people, because I want to get everybody really to think about this differently from the way we just talk about what we think. Are you worried that some of the evidence, one of the pictures that Trump showed in the White House, that it was fake?
Exactly what I just said. I said that Elon Musk is just instigating falsehood.
Yeah, but why will a president of the United States, with all the resources under his control,
this is the okay, go ahead.
Why will he show a picture? If I show a picture that is bad, that is wrong picture here, you can say that, oh, I don't have enough staff, I don't have money to pay. But the president of the United States, knowing that the world is going to see this, knowing that the media will critique any picture he showed, any picture, why will he show a picture that is false and say this is South Africa?
Now the world has done their assignment or their task, which is to criticize the picture and to bring out the truth. Now it is now left for the president now to now say, okay, I delegated this assignment to this person, and he fed me with falsehood. So it is now left for the president to either retain the person or to replace the person. It's exactly the same thing that happened during Obama's regime. What was this guy's offense? Gaddafi. That they just made away with Gaddafi. Then he came back when the people did the assignment by bringing out the truth. Obama later come back and told us that he regretted his actions. So sometimes these presidents that we are seeing, they are not like angels. They are not God. You know, they have their imperfection. Sometimes they make mistakes as well. But the ability to learn from their mistakes, apologize, and correct that makes them a human. We don't expect them to be perfect all the time. But the person that I'm pointing at right now is Elon Musk. He's instigating nonsense that are not factual. And I don't know why they should retain that kind of person in that position.
All right. Thank you, Kene. Let's go to Femi. Femi, welcome.
Yes. So my positions are clear, and again, I'm neither Democrat or Republican. There's something about American policy when it comes to the wider world that knows no Republican or Democrat. It's just a U.S. policy, irrespective. And Dr. Damiji permits me to say this. There was someone that last week had said something with regards to being, I don't know why he was upset when I mentioned that Trump is a man-child. We're here to have a say. You might disagree what I say, but I don't have to. I owe you no apology when I believe in something and I stick to it. Otherwise, we might as well all say things alike, you know. So when you come here and start degrading people just because you don't like what they say, especially when they're speaking from their own informed position, I'm sorry, but I sorry to disappoint you. So I just thought to put that down here. Unfortunately, he's here right now, so he knows himself. Anyway, to Trump, and respect to all of the things that you just highlighted. Why would I be surprised? I've said this several times. Those of us that are New Yorkers originally, for example, we know this guy. We know his antecedents. This is someone that right from the onset has been known very well. Even those in the past that worked with him, like Michael Hope Cohen, as an example, they will tell you straight up, the guy does not read. He doesn't. His view of the world is limited. I'm not necessarily saying that the likes of George Bush Jr. is any much better, but at least there's some common sense at times that they employ to the kind of things they do. And again, if you watch this page, it has nothing to do with being Republican or Democrat. Now, it's also been reported, and this is not the first time. It's a common thread with him. It's also been reported that even when you give him the very last, if you're the last person that speaks to Trump right now, is more likely to take what you said. He doesn't have no fact check. He doesn't have no facts. It just goes with what is presented with fact, period. And in a day and age where there's so much out there and you're not even paying attention to even the little details, why should we be surprised? I've said it that it's difficult. This is one person that's going to be difficult to defend, period. There are certain things he does that, to be fair on him, maybe by omission or commission, that I seem to like the issue of Ukraine and Russia, that again is down to US policy. The problem is that even in situations where he seems to want to do the right thing, again, maybe by mistake or at least you can tell that he's trying to do the right thing. Sometimes some of the neocons that he surrounded himself with, they're the ones that are pushing him right and left versus the other people that align with some of the things that we know that America has instigated all over the world. With respect to what's his name, Elon Musk, it's not, as a matter of fact, it's not just Elon Musk. There's actually 4 billionaire South African white guys that are in this administration as well. I guess people don't realize that the administration is made up of a lot of people that we like to refer to as oligarchs. He's surrounding himself with people that have his ears. 4 of them are South Africans. I think there's a guy called Thiel as well. They're all billionaires, white South Africans. So when you see things, and then when we forget that, when we try to pretend as if South Africa doesn't have a history dating back to the 17th century, starting with the Dutch, who came with the idea of colonization, whereby they actually set up farms on the side to fill up the ships that are passing by on the way back to Holland or to South Africa from Holland, all the way down to the British, who later came and pushed the South African in. And of course, you had the likes of the Boer Wars. It's a mix of colonization and the way they had to take over the land to the point where, even up as we're speaking right now, 7%, which is the total population of the Africans or the whites, are in control of like 72 or 73% of the land in South Africa. Make that make sense. One mistake I think Mandela made, though, during the Truth when he set up the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, understanding that yes, he was trying to be a man of peace and not try to kind of like return violence for violence when black majority started. One mistake I think he made was part of what they should have done. And I think they tried to do it. It just wasn't out in the open. I don't think it's that effective. Is that they should have insisted on trying to see how they can actually make sure the people whose ancestors actually own the land. They tried to do that thing. I don't know how effective it is. They actually got back as much of the land as possible. In the course of the week, I later realized from one of these guys that I have better knowledge that I listened to. I later realized that in 2018 there was this issue of return of land without compensation being branded about. And Malema has always been hate him or love him. Yes, maybe the way it goes about saying things that you may not necessarily like, but I understand where he's coming from. Because you have to be in people's shoes to know why they're doing what they're doing. Because imagine if someone came to take a land that belongs to you, even in Nigeria, you're going to fight for it. It's a generational thing. So I know where it's coming from. But maybe as a way of rounding up, again, I'm saying this just like in every other thing. It's difficult to defend Trump because as far as it's concerned, that poor man that just came there and was listening, that was really annoying. Just watching, it's upsetting. The fact that he's actually saying it's true and he was insisting, and they were actually making it sound as if he couldn't even want to take answers from questions from the RNG reporters that he has. Because keep in mind, he has long kicked out other reporters that are not people that he hand selected. It's just a ruse, And I don't know. It's easily funny, but we'll continue to witness this kind of situations. Next week we'll come again and we have another Trump debacle to discuss about.
All right, thank you, Femi. Dexter, you're next.
Thank you, Dr. Damages. I'm not going to talk too much on this topic because, well, irrespective of the morale of whatever happened, if you go begging, you are in a disadvantaged position. Like I said, I think it's time for Africa to start owning up, living up to their potential and owning up to their responsibility. As Africans, it's time for us to do that. The Africa is actually the richest continent when you talk of natural resources. But all we do is we get people to come and take it out and then use it, and then we buy the finished products. We're not producing anything. That's as wealthy as South Africa is. The truth about it is that the white population there also contributes to productivity there. We have to also accept that. I don't think there's something that Bola Tinubu said, and as much as I don't agree with a lot of things he says, but there's something he said: stoop to conquer. Africa needs to learn to stoop to conquer in the sense that we need to do like the Chinese, and that's what the Chinese did. It's not about going to go begging. China created a conducive environment for Western companies to come. And China invested in their young generation to be able to be super productive. And today, they have a shot on the table. And I think that's what African leaders need to go. The problem in Africa is that we go to say we want to get money. That money that Ramaphosa is getting, at the end of whatever he's getting, it wasn't a lot of it going to corruption. Doesn't a lot of it go into personal pockets? How has the skill competency of the average South African, what is it like? If you take a 24-year-old South African and check his skill competency, what is it? So if we can come here and be deliberating, oh, Trump didn't do him this, oh, Trump shouldn't have spoken, oh, Trump was wrong, but that doesn't change. That is us talking of the flesh, not the bone of the matter. The question is, what is making African leaders, what made Ramaphosa, first of all, to go there? Because he needs help, because he needs money, because he needs the trade. So I think we should what I take from all this is that as Africans, as the black race, we need, especially those of us that live in the land space called Africa, we have to start rethinking our strategy and what we want to play in this world. The truth about it is that if any African country had become 20% of what China has become today, you have black Americans, all the blacks around the world will be running back. Oh, and associating with it. And will bring pride around the world. That's what we should be focusing on. Because we're talking about whether it's new. Like I said, money is just like an exchange system. It is who has higher value, who can create value of whatever is available. And the truth about it is that the Western world creates more value from the resources they have. We don't. In Africa, think about Nigeria. The cassava that we were eating from 50 years ago is still the same processing system. I'm sure when you go to, you will still see the same processing, something that they were doing, nothing. University graduates have come out, nothing to show. You couldn't even take it as a university graduate. The government couldn't say,
okay. Let's stop. You're getting into a territory that my territory. You talked about cassava. Let me tell this story. Maybe I've not told it before. So I actually studied agricultural engineering. So in my final year, I had to do a project, which typically is design a system or a machine. I had to travel to ABU, UI. I think I went to UNN as part of my literature review. And I went to their, they have places where they keep prototypes of projects done by Nigerian students, engineering students. You'll be amazed when you go there. They've done everything. They've done the machine that will plant cassava, the one that will harvest it, the one that will process it. They are there. But there are no companies. The government is not interested. There are no companies that are willing to now produce it so that the people can use this. Sometimes they will sell it to international, other companies abroad to do. So it's not the fault of the students. I'm just trying to defend my engineer. It's not the fault of the students. We've done the theory, we've done the prototypes, but you don't have industrial base. You don't have government that is interested. Let me tell you one thing that happened. In my final year, one engineer became the governor of Ondo State. I went to Futa, and he gave us a project, funding to produce water hyacinth harvester, because in Nigeria, the rivers and the lakes and streams, you have water hyacinths. So we designed it. My engineering class designed it. The people coming behind us finally produced it, and they deployed it, and it worked. But it was only one produced by the university. But if Nigeria had been a serious country, this is something that could be produced a lot, used beyond Nigeria, and used on streams and rivers across Nigeria that are today overtaken by water hyacinth. So the problem is not, don't reduce it to students being produced. And they don't,
Dr. David, I'm not blaming the students, but you see, there's, like you said, there's a culture. So as a student, as you grow up in school, you are being programmed. Okay? You are being programmed. The system, the society programs you. So imagine a student, like I've said, they were so happy they did the project, they produced something. But the programming that went into their brain is that you've done this thing, you've produced this thing, the country, there's nothing that can come out of it. Forget, like, it's just going to be for the library. Okay? There's no progress on it. There's nothing. Do you know that you have altered that student's brain straight away? Because the way that student moves into the society is completely different. Look, the best productive years of any human being is between that age of 18 to that, because that is the time crazy ideas are coming into the person's brain. And if you can't harvest it as a country, as leadership, like you said, if leadership in Nigeria couldn't realize that, oh, these students have produced this thing, okay, we need to open a machine shop to start all the riverine areas need to have this, and these students will be leading the project. That is, look, it is easy to create jobs. These students will be leading the project, and more students will be coming, and this machine will be improved. You keep on improving. Do you know the mindset of those students when they graduate, the way their mind will open towards productivity, towards machine making? But in Nigeria, what happens is that those students go through university. In fact, it is, Dr. Ahmed, it was better in your time. Now it is worse. Now it is worse, because with the advent of computers, they will just say, they will just tell you there's no more production. The students' mind will have been open. We can produce this thing. And that's how you see students that will say, we're not going to work for anybody. We'll just set up, we'll be producing this equipment, and the economy will grow. And Nigeria will be in a position to rule at least West Africa. But We can't be the reason why Ramaphosa is good is because of money. Look, do you know Nigeria is better than South Africa? Because South Africans actually expect a free paycheck. And one of the worst things you can do, in fact, is what is happening in the African race, and it's what is killing Nigeria. Governors sit down in their office, irrespective of whatever they do. At the end of the month, they go to Abuja to collect money. It is something that I don't know whether it is the Westerners that put that kind of thing in us, that okay, you get a free meal, but you know the thing about getting free meal. Today you are 10, you are getting free meal. Tomorrow you are 100, you are getting free meal. Tomorrow you are 1 million. Of course, what they are giving you can't go around again, and because you are not productive, your mindset has not been attuned to productivity. All of you are struggling for that one small free meal, and that is what is happening to the black race. Whether South Africa, Nigeria, Congo, everybody. What we need to do is follow the template of China. Simple. And Nigeria is the best country in Africa to lead the way now. Over 70 million people between the ages of 15 to 35 exist. You have to harness it. If you don't harness it, we miss a big opportunity.
All right, Dexter, thank you so much.
Just a second. Let me add to what Dexter is saying. My personal experience, right? I went to Nigeria and I went to a popular market in Onitsha. What I had in mind going to that market was to buy Aba-made slippers, not Italian-made, Aba-made, because I've had Italian-made and I know how long they lasted. So this time I was looking for Aba-made. Now I got to the market and I saw the slippers and I know this is made in Aba, but at the back it was written Italian. I was like, hey, is this Italian made or Aba made? He said, no, that is Italian made. They don't sell Aba here. I said, actually, I'm looking for Aba made. They were laughing at me. Like, I'm looking for Aba made. And I know this is Aba made. So stop. All these things that you guys are doing, tagging it Italian, as if Italian made is more sophisticated than Aba made. Aba made is what I'm looking for, and this is Aba made. So what is the price for this Aba made? So I ended up buying 3 pairs. Still here. I even gifted one of my friends one. He came the other day and he liked it. Any place I wear these slippers, they will be admiring it. People will be commending it. So we don't encourage our own. And it started from the government. You see somebody that is something that is being produced in your country, something made in your country, they will call it Aba-made with derogatory kind of gesture, as if it is inferior. Now, our big brother here, Dr. Damage, shared his experience while he was in school, what they developed. If it is a country that functions well, they should have a system where this kind of projects are being encouraged. They will develop it, make it more modernized, make it more sophisticated, and even bring it out in the market, and even lay a kind of do I use monopoly or restriction that that nobody should import this kind of product in this country, just as to encourage the domestic one. But we don't have it because our mentality is all about foreign, and that is why we pack our raw materials and send to abroad. They will refine and bring this African country serve.
Anyway, okay, thank you. Let me go to Tony. Tony, welcome, and let's go back to Trump, South Africa. I want you to look at, there was something else that happened. Julius Malema has talked about that these people are not farmers. Trump was insisting that, the people that he brought, they were farmers and that they were being killed. And we know that it's not true that they were being killed more than any other person could die in South Africa. But he sold that story to the international media. The president of South Africa came with Afrikaners who are in his cabinet, who are big people, rich people, and we know these people who own lands, they are not going to leave South Africa and come to America and start afresh, So start from there and Wayne.
Okay, thank you. I actually wanted to talk briefly about the raw materials issue, but maybe if you allow me, just 1 or 2 minutes, and then I'll talk about Ramaphosa and Trump and Malema, if you allow me.
Go ahead.
First of all, I think part of the problem that we have in Nigeria is that Nigeria the government doesn't see any need to invest in R&D, research and development. is a problem, because if you look at the research institutes, if you look at PRODA, for instance, in Enugu, look at FIRO in Oshodi in Lagos, they're just rotting away. If you go there, I can speak of PRODA. There are so many prototypes that have been developed, and they're just lying there. And this is what they're supposed to do. So the goodwill to see how these things can be sold or translated into food production so that the country will benefit is not there. Government is not looking at that. They are not even investing on universities. So if the little researchers will get there, you have from the universities and the companies who sponsor research and development and able to do one or two things. And that's bringing the country back. If you look at Biafra, for instance, all the inventions that was used to sustain Biafra, in terms of armament and so on, they all died. All the people that would have helped, Nigeria to, to transit to manufacturing light arms and so on, they all died. And so it's a loss for Nigeria. But let me come back to the issue, South Africa. If you have studied South African history, you would see why Malema is probably feeling the way he's feeling. If you look at the invasion, quote and unquote, of both the Dutch and the British into South Africa, caused a lot of dislocation for the San, the Khoi, the Bantu. I have studied a part of the courses that I studied in university. There was serious dislocation of people, of land, of resources. So that entire topography changed by foreigners who came and totally dehumanized, destroyed the topography of the place, the life of the people, and changed the total history of that place. Okay, so if you look at some of the historical figures in South Africa, whether it's Chaka the Zulu, Dingaan, Swati, and so on and so forth, if you read them, you would see the battle that they fought to sustain, to hold on to their land against the British, against the Dutch, and so on and so forth. And the Dutch, for instance, were the most horrible because they created homelands. They took the best part of the land and put Africans in Botswana, the San, were almost totally wiped out of existence, and so on and so forth. So the entire history of South Africa was radically changed by British and Dutch intervention. And so when Malema is speaking as a younger person, not an older person, Mandela was fierce when he was much younger, when he was fighting, with Sisulu and all those. But Malema is a political leader. You can't wave Malema aside. He's an opposition element. He has followers who believe in him. And what he's saying, he's not even saying kill the British. He said kill the Dutch, kill the Boer. Because they introduced one of the worst policies in the world, apartheid, that dehumanized, even lifted dogs more than Africans themselves. So what Malema is saying is not that you should kill them. He's saying the principle of apartheid, which is still operating, which has continued to impoverish Black people in South Africa, we need to totally destroy it. And it's associated with the Dutch. Okay? With the Dutch and the Dutch Reformed Church and all those their theories and everything that they use to oppress the people, which has structured the life, the present situation that you have in South Africa. So I think that is what Malema is looking at, not necessarily asking that they kill. Nobody's been killed. But the land that they were possibly taking, the displacements that happened, and people who were taking and putting Botswana and all those, areas that principally not, created homelands and created, places where, that are totally, not, you can't farm, you can't do anything there, and then created this sort of concept of GRA for the white people and everything for the whites, transportation and that kind of life. It has to be dismantled. And so I support him by saying that, yes, that system has to be dismantled. And that's what Trump is trying to do here. Trump is saying America for Americans. So that's what he's doing. So what's wrong with what Malema is saying? Nobody is killing anybody. Now, Trump is just a disruptor. as far as I'm concerned. And we'll see the kind of disruption that is caused all over the world. But let's leave that. He is saying he's looking at America. So why should he be criticizing someone who is saying South Africa for South Africa? You know? So to that extent, I have sympathy for Malema and what he's pursuing. The land that was seized from people without compensation by the apartheid regime must be taken back. It must be returned to the original owners. That there should be no negotiation about that. Now, to talk about the South African president, his visit, you see, South Africa has so many issues with America. First of all, is in BRICS, and BRICS, as you know, is a collection of countries who believe that the dollarization of world trade, So and nobody will be happy with that. Biden wasn't happy with that. Trump is not happy with that. Then the other thing you find out that South Africa was only African country that took Israel to court. In the UN over this war with Hamas and all that, and the killings and all that. And then the third thing, you see that with the tariff war, that led to sanction, on South Africa, there's a need. And I think the president is right to say, okay, let us go to this new regime and let's see if we can negotiate some of these things so we can have a better understanding, because South Africa to Trump is like a pariah, to them. So like one who is trying to kill wives, one who is against America's interest, one who is against Israel, So there's a need for him to go there. And he's not the only African country. I mean, he's not only world leader that's going to meet Trump to say, let us sit down and let us talk about these issues that affect our country. So I don't fault him from that perspective. So and for me, and I think that is what, because I mean, first of all, you think of your country first. There's trade that you will benefit if they renegotiate this tariff, which Trump has done with some other people. So if he's able to renegotiate the trade relations, because South Africa, I think I don't know what the trade relations is, whether it's in favor. I think it's likely in favor of South Africa against America. So there's a need for.
They have a trade surplus of $5 billion thereabout.
Very good. So yeah, so there's a need to sort out this and sort it out. So it's important. So anybody who is saying that they shouldn't have gone there was going for money, no. There's an issue to be sorted out. There is, when they sit down, the two heads of state sit down, they can clarify some of these issues and have a better understanding and work together. So I don't necessarily think that we should just see this as an African country just going to go and beg money. There were issues that needed to be sorted out, for the benefit of both countries. So let me stop there because my time is up.
All right. Thank you, Tony. Let's welcome to the show, Jagun. Jagun, welcome.
Thank you. Hello, and good evening to all on the panel and all in the chat and all viewers. Now, it's been a while. I want to take up something really quickly with you. The person I want to point out is not here. And last week, he called my name, very unfortunately. And you didn't press him as to why particularly. Because I don't need my name to be called, and there not to be a real understanding as to what your complaint is. It was quite childish. I didn't enjoy it at all. And the fact that nobody pressed him on why he was complaining and what particularly I said that was why he wasn't being balanced. Why did he just call my name like that? Anyway, normally when these things happen, when I used to be here more regularly, you would normally ask me not to. So you did neither. But here you go. Good evening again.
Nice to have you.
Indeed. I want to talk about Ramaphosa in real terms. As well as I will push in with one or two of the other things, since I saw how much time you gave everybody, and everybody was very well behaved given the time that was given. We applaud that. Ramaphosa, when I was watching his conduct in the White House, for me was deplorable. It showed so much weakness. I disliked it intensely. And I know that if somebody with the truth-telling aspect of Malema was in that same chair, Trump would not have been able to get away with half of that nonsense that he did. Me personally, when I watched it, and Trump has, I'm being welcomed to America. Trump has all this document, fake information, as though he's bringing another president to court. I would have told him off for that. I would have done it in a way that was clear that I'm telling you off, but I would have done it in a way that it was palatable, because you know I can be pretty harsh with the way I put words. However, I would have told him off that I didn't come here to your country to be trialed by you. That's not what I did. All these papers that you have, somebody who keeps saying fake news, I can guarantee you all of that in your hand is fake news. He didn't say any of that. He was begging. He was the condescending level in which Trump treated him. For me, that's not that. These aren't African leaders. These aren't the leaders that we want. These seem to be the leaders that many of us who are Nigerians on this platform somehow want to play this kind of intellectual word spiral with, and they're not worth it. These aren't people who are worth our vote. They're not worth our time. They do not care about us in real terms. They may have language and maybe a way of behaving that seems like it's kind of upstanding, but they're the worst people, and we still haven't understood this. That's why I'm bored. I'm bored with speaking about Tinubu. I'm thinking, look at this person. Are you taking this man seriously, for God's sake? Then I'm looking in the African space about leaders, and I keep saying there are only 3 leaders in this whole Africa, maybe a few more, but there are 3 particularly who are making a clear example of what it is to lead an African nation. And it seems that we in Nigeria, this is my angst that I grind with Nigerians particularly, because it seems we always focus on the wrong thing. Those 3 revolutionary leaders don't take away the fact that they're military or otherwise. The fact that the military is by the by. The fact is, what they are doing in their countries is building their people. And the more I watch them, the more that becomes clear. And once you build your people, you are a strong nation. In Nigeria, we're not building our people. What you just mentioned earlier about what universities are doing in Nigeria, it was something that we want to applaud. It's something that is natural. We've got great universities in Nigeria who aren't doing their job to the point of 50% even, let alone, playing the game of intellectualization to the highest level, of which Nigeria can easily do. Why aren't there programs being set up in universities that lead to productivity, that lead to innovation? Of course there should be. It happens in all universities across the world. Why not Nigeria? You're telling me it does happen in Nigeria, but the government, who have no clue, who have no clue, aren't doing anything about it. I mean, it's appalling. It's appalling. How do we find ourselves in this situation when we're taking people seriously who are not taking us seriously? How do you do that, Nigerians? I want to know, because I don't understand. I don't understand how you take Tinubu, this one, that one next week, this one, this, what he did, this one, that one. All of them are just nonsensical waste of our life, waste of our time, waste of our intelligence. We know what a leader looks like. If we don't see it, we don't vote for it. Simple. We can't allow Tinubu is right now. If you watch the last 2 years, it's coming to his second full year now. If we analyze him, just from our own point of view, no bias necessarily, we just analyze what has been done in 2 years, given Tinubu his relationship, his communication with the country called Nigeria. We look at it. In looking at it, what we find is that his whole 2 years has been spent politicking. He hasn't been governing anything. He hasn't been running a country at all. What happens, happens. And when he can instigate, he will instigate. But largely, he's playing politics and marking his way to 2027. That's all I've seen him really doing. And we are there taking it like this is supposed to be how it is. I'm afraid I'm most unhappy with us who should know better, us who have an understanding of when I see Goita and the likes of Ibrahim Traore, and I look at what they're doing and how their thinking is so clear and they are so far ahead of the rest of Africans. They're so far ahead of the rest of the leadership in Africa. But we don't seem to recognize that. We are seeming as though the Nigerian politics that we're playing there is going to give us anything of any importance to the whole world. It's of zero importance to the whole world. Zero. And we're there backing it, like we're backing anything. You know, that's what I've got to say in a brown enough package. I wanted to say a bit more, but I can see I'm taking up time and I can get off key. Thank you for your time given.
All right. Thank you, Jagun. We appreciate you. I just want to let people know that we have another stream that will start as soon as we round up this one. And Forefathers will be your host. But I want to hear from Odi, Mr. James, Righteous Man, if it's possible to get everybody to weigh in quickly so that we can hand it over to Forefathers. Odi, Jonas.
Thank you, Rudolph, for another opportunity. Hello, everybody. And Jagun, long time. It's good to see you.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, so, you know, I think over the past few weeks, a few people have been talking about BRICS and all this stuff and how America is an empire that is going to end and all that stuff. I was like, you know, it may be a good wish for whoever wants to live in China and, you know, be, you know, and enjoy their freedom there, but not me. I'm like, well, I don't want to live in China. I don't want to live in Russia. I'm happy living in the United States. I don't like everything they do. You know, no empire is the best. You know, I'm Pan-Africanist and I like many things that I like and I wish for. You know, I would wish that Obi is president. I've said it very, you know, I wish that there's a way we can remove Tinubu and put Obi there, but it's not reality, right? You know, let's go to Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa is from the ANC, right? If you watched, I've kind of watched the two last elections that the South Africans had. And I've been following the EFF. I followed them on Twitter, and I've been following, you know, Julius Malema closely. South Africa is a very funny country. Last week, I said it's a white country ruled by a black person. And people, you know, I'm not the first person that said this. You know, many people have said that in the past. You know, and many of these guys, you know, you hear many of the folks that look like us in South Africa, they have many things they wish for. But, you know, their brain, most of them, their brain need a big reset. In the last election, people voted for DA. I don't know if you know, they have three main parties, right? The DA, ANC, and then EFF that is coming up. As protest votes, they voted against Julius Malema that we're hailing. Yep. Because of what? Because he likes the Kwerekweres. Who is the Kwerekwere? It's me and you. You know, they would rather have the Oyibo that Trump took to the White House than me and you. Look, cry me a river. Look, I cannot drink Panadol for their headache. What's his name? Ramaphosa went there to go and pay allegiance. He's not there. He's not there by himself. He's not there. Look, if you look at, we have BRICS, right? The S in BRICS is South Africa, right? It's not BRIC. The S has left them. You know, he went there to bow before the emperor. Everybody could see it. You know, I'll tell you, I don't like Ramaphosa. I like Julius Malema for all I care. But I'll tell you, when I was watching that, the only thing I said, thank God it's Ramaphosa. Imagine if you take Tinubu and put where Ramaphosa was. You know, it's like when Buhari went to see Trump. Trump came out and said, this man is dead. Imagine if you take Tinubu and put in the place of, at least Ramaphosa was, you know, he conducted himself well. You know, look, South Africa, America has a GDP of 30 trillion. You know, South Africa has like, you know, less than half a trillion, right? He knows that Trump is trying to hold them by the jugular. He's trying to mess them up. He had to save his job. South Africa, things are not very easy. The small NEPA that they had, they don't have NEPA anymore. Those people,
sorry, really sorry to interrupt you. Please, I just want to tackle you on this. Do you not think that the South Africans themselves, they need a kind of leadership that is really focused on really making a nation, and making a nation with a African lead, which is that as much as they are multicultural society, the fact that we are majority black to the tune of 80%, we need as a nation to fit around what it is to be African, because we're in this part of the world. And this is how I'm going to lead you. You know, I'm just putting it. Sorry, don't take his time away. I just want to see.
I hear you very well, and that's the problem. So in South Africa, most people believe their elections are free and fair. These are a set of black folks who are given a chance to pick their leader, and they picked Ramaphosa, and they supported the same Afrikaners that you are complaining about, that me and you are on this show are crying out. They voted for them. So you can't drink Panadol for their headache. Trust me. If we take the electoral body that South Africa has and put it in Nigeria, trust me, Nigerians will vote in their own good leaders.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. I wish we can have more time to discuss this, and we will. One day we will. Instead of following the news, we decide on topics to discuss. I hope we get to that point, because the news sometimes makes us not to have in-depth look at any topic. All right, we have to run, but I want to hear from Mr. James. Those that have not had any opportunity to weigh in throughout the show.
I would like to thank you for what you said there, Rudolph. I think that's very important.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. James.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm sure you can hear me.
Yes.
It would have been better if I engaged one of the panelists on a very brief question and answer section.
Who do you want?
Anybody, because the South African problem is different from how we see it from outside. I've lived there for about 10 to 12 years in Johannesburg City. I know not everything, but what is what is shaping the opinions of South Africa. I know some of them. So it's not as easy as we here in West Africa or East Africa, other parts of Africa, looking at their problems. Their history is radically different from ours. It's an extremely violent society. When we say violence, we mean violence to the extreme. There's no violence. Sorry, in Nigeria, we have this Boko Haram and what have you. These are very late developments. In South Africa, their violence lasted for 400 years. The very first day the whites set their foot on the Cape Town till 1994, when they gained their independence, about 400 years, they've been battling issues with white South Africans. So we should try to see things from their point of view. They were very harsh towards us while we were there, but I'm trying to be objective. If we were to be in their position, we will even do worse than what they are doing at the moment. This is how I see it. It is not true that they are targeting whites in South Africa. The society is violent. For example, in the city of Johannesburg, the number of cemeteries they have in the city of Johannesburg is more than the number of cemeteries in any African country. You get what I mean? The number of cemeteries we have in Nigeria is not up to the number of cemeteries they have in the city of Johannesburg. In Soweto, there's a cemetery that we call Avalon Cemetery. It's in Soweto. Every week, on the average, they bury between 500 to 700 people. Black cemetery. The whites, they have their cemeteries. The Indians, they have theirs, the colors and what have you. So it's a very violent society. The blacks shoot hell out of each other. The main killers in South Africa are bullet wounds and AIDS.
So Trump is just being, should I say, nasty. These are just arm twisting techniques. That's how I see it. Then this issue of land. The land was forcibly, so the blacks were forcibly dispossessed of their land. Since gold was discovered in Witwatersrand in Johannesburg in 1886 or thereabout, South Africa has known no peace. They even exported their problems to Zimbabwe in search of mineral, that's a road. They went up to Namibia, and the whole of that region was turned upside down. The society became violent. The blacks, they rose up to the occasion to repossess their property. In the case of Zimbabwe, they fought for land ownership. I mean, that the land belonged to us, we want our land back. That is the main war they fought in Zimbabwe. In the case of South Africa, they fought for equal rights and justice. The land belonged to those who work it. So if a white man is working the land belonged to him. If a black man is working the land also belonged to him. So that was a negotiated settlement. Unlike Zimbabwe, it's Nigeria that gave independence to Zimbabwe. When they held a Commonwealth conference in, I think, Dar es Salaam or so, 1978 or thereabout, the Nigerian foreign minister, Brigadier Henry Adefokbe, announced at that conference venue that Nigeria is nationalizing British petroleum because they are investing in South Africa. The conference scattered. They went, Thatcher and others went home. That was 1978 or so. 1979, there was Lancaster House Agreement talks on Zimbabwe. 1980, they got their independence. That is for Zimbabwe. Now, the problem in Zimbabwe is land. The arrangement they arrived at Lancaster, Margaret Thatcher and his government, they refused to honor their own side of the story. This late man, what's his name? Jimmy Carter, chipped in some money to ease the tension. But at the end of the day, Britain refused to honor our commitment. This is why Robert Mugabe decided to introduce the land redistribution program. And when he introduced it, Britain declared diplomatic war on Zimbabwe, crippled the economy till tomorrow. Zimbabwe has not been able to recover. So if South Africans are not careful, they are going to reduce South Africa to rubbles. This is the fear Ramaphosa has got. And being a violent society, if the economy continues to decline, they will not be able to handle the people. While during apartheid, the blacks were not educated at all. All the big universities in South Africa, Witwatersrand, Grahamstown, Pretoria, Stellenbosch, Cape Town, you name it, they were white universities. The blacks had very few. They were not properly taught. So when independence came, South Africa was an advanced society. Their airline was one of the best in the whole wide world. Their shipping line has no rival. Their parks and gardens, electricity supply, gas supply, they need highly qualified people to run the system. If they had told the white men to leave immediately, that society would have crumbled. That is why Nelson Mandela said, we are not telling you to go. If you want to stay with us, you are South Africans. That was the trick they used. They've been doing all they can to educate the black. They've awarded a lot of scholarships to the black. But the problem is the white South Africans are leaving. They are trooping out of the country in anger. They said it is better for them to be paupers in Europe than to be under black majority rule. When I was in Johannesburg, we had a workshop where we fabricate, machine parts. I learned it while I was in Israel. So when I got there, there was no job in South Africa. We set up the workshop. We had a problem with a machine we were using. So we lose the parts. We were looking for an engineering company to fabricate another one. We traveled the whole of Johannesburg. I discovered a startling revelation, and that is the industries are dead. The white men are all gone. So this is the problem the country is battling with, and with irresponsible people like Jacob Zuma, who fraternize with the Indians to fleece the country. It's a pity I cannot narrate the story. It's quite a lot of story. Anybody who's interested should get in touch with Dr. Damages. I have, there were two commissions of inquiry, the Heifer Commission and one other commission I cannot remember, set up to investigate corruption in South Africa. Jacob Zuma is the linchpin of corruption in that country. And in fairness to the system, Jacob Zuma went to jail, an ex-president, to show that they are really concerned with the way they are running their country. I don't think any Nigerian ex-president has ever been to jail, despite the monumental corruption we have in the country. So we should please try to see things from the South African point of view. They are in a very tight corner, and it is not their fault because they were not prepared for independence. They were fighting wars. Independence came unexpectedly when what's called F.W. de Klerk made a U-turn and said they are negotiating. The ANC was busy fighting from Zambia, from Maputo, from Zimbabwe. They were just fighting wars. They never trained anybody to do anything. When independence came, they ran into a problem. And somebody mentioned something that is very correct. The DA, Democratic Alliance Party, is the white apartheid party. The problem is there is what they call born freeze in South Africa. Those who were born after 1994 who never saw apartheid. They've grown up and they are not satisfied with the way things are going. The economy is getting so bad. So many people are out of jobs. So it is this born freeze who are increasing in number that gave the Democratic Alliance those votes they got to form a coalition party, a government with the ANC.
Please speak about the Kwerekweres.
No, yes, okay. Thank you for raising that issue. I suffered it. Let me explain it this way. During apartheid, the ANC leaders, Jacob Zuma, Thabo Mbeki, and so many of them, they were in exile in Nigeria, in Zambia, Ghana, and what have you. Now, these guys, they were receiving money from foreign countries, Nigeria, Ghana, Zambia, Kenya, and others. They were spending this money without giving account to anybody because it was not a government. You cannot audit the account. It was gift you gave to them. So when independence came, they all went home. When they got home, unfortunately, the free money they used to enjoy outside was nowhere to be found. So they descended on the national treasury. That led to the Heifer Commission of, I think, 2004, thereabout, in Bloemfontein. Now, when they descended on the treasury, they emptied it. There was a French company they called Tails. They awarded some billions of rands, a manufacturing company that was unaccounted for. So at the end of the day, the economy was bad. So when we got there, the black South Africans saw us, we looked like unidentified flying objects in their midst. Where were you while we were fighting apartheid? And it's a very correct question because they were cut off completely from other African countries. They could not even get in touch with us on radio. They were not even receiving our radio broadcasts. Our newspapers, there were no television. They were just living in a world of their own. So when apartheid ended and we descended on them in large numbers, the question they asked is, where were you while we were fighting apartheid? People like Jacob Zuma, Thabo Mbeki, and others supposed to educate the people the role we played to enable them gain the independence, which they refused to do. So this is the problem. As far as they are concerned, we are nuisance in their midst. And you cannot blame them because how educated are they? The most educated ones, they got what they call matric, that is our O level, GCE O level. That's the most educated. You see a black South African, he said, I've been working for Checkers, Woolworths, ShopRite, okay, for the past 30, 40 years. What have you been doing? Oh, I'm a driver, I'm a cleaner. Manual jobs. The white never trained them for anything. So when they are reasoning, they are not as enlightened as you and me. You see, an illiterate who grew up in the midst of educated people is not the same as an illiterate who grew up in the midst of illiterates. The level of education in Nigeria is very high. When the illiterates are interacting with us, it also shapes their opinions, unlike people who grow up in the midst of illiterates. So this is the problem they have in the country. They should be very careful because if the country should collapse, it's going to be an unmitigated disaster. So I do not blame what is the Ramaphosa for going to White House. The Benin people have a saying that that is, if there's a rat in a pot, you have to be very sensible when you are trying to kill the rat inside the pot. That is what, I'm sorry, I cannot interpret the proverbs very well, but I think that's the meaning. This man is being cautious because he is dealing with a madman. And if he should pretend or try to be mad in dealing with Trump, the consequences can be terribly tragic. And please, I will send you some documents. Please, anybody who's interested should try. It's good. All of you should try to get in touch with Rudolph. He will send you some documents about 2 commissions of inquiries. One is on Jacob Zuma, and the other was about a police chief they called Bulalani Nuka. They investigated him if he was an apartheid spy. These were landmark commissions of inquiries in South Africa. I have it with me here right now.
All right. Thank you, Mr. James. What I promise that during this summer break, we are going to have special episodes of shows where we can have time to talk about things like we can zero in on South Africa and you can give us a lot more information and time. We allow us to do that instead of this one that we follow the news every weekend. All right, thank you so much. Let me hear Forefathers before we switch over to Forefathers stream. Forefathers, go ahead.
Oh, greetings, Dr. Rudolph, and greetings to all the panelists. Been a while. The chat and to the viewers. Jagon, always good to see you and bouncing around, solid. And Mr. James, great submission regarding the experience in South Africa. But I'm afraid your submission may have been colored by the influences of the narrative in South Africa, because the conclusion you reached, it contradicts itself. Because if you are saying the nation is going to collapse, but it's already collapsed for the black people there already, how can 70 to 80% of the population control about 5% of household wealth?
No, you see,
we don't recognize that it's collapsed for them already.
I'm sorry for interrupting you, Mr. Forefathers. The issue is that during the negotiation process, it was a negotiated settlement that we are granting independence under these conditions. They signed and agreed on everything. So if they did not take care of the land issue properly, that is the fault of the negotiators. But that does not mean that in the interest of the nation, it cannot be reviewed. It should be reviewed. But if they go the Zimbabwean way, the outcome will be an unmitigated.
So that's the thing, and Zimbabwe is going to emerge, and it's already emerging. The idea that there is another inheritance you have, then we are just for the birds. Because if you look at Zimbabwe, they tried to do the same thing. They had an agreement with the British. They said, okay, it's time for the land reform. They refused to do it. They start doing what Trump tried to do to Ramaphosa, bully them not to do what they've agreed to in their constitution. This stuff is actually in their constitution. They are supposed to fulfill it. But when it comes to the time, the black people have to sit down and wait and remain in servitude. How can 5% of population of that country control 70 to 80% of the wealth of that country? Even American white don't control that much against the blacks. How can that? It's a remarkable achievement. That group you see there, they are the most racist group you can find in the world.
No, I agree with you. You are very correct. But the issue also is this. We as Nigerians, we've disappointed Africa. We started well. When Kwame Nkrumah quit the scene, we took over. With bare hands. When I say bare hands, we did not use bullet, diplomacy, and our wealth. We were able to liberate Mozambique, Angola, Guinea-Bissau, and South Africa, Zimbabwe, through diplomatic effort. This Nigeria, you and me belong. So what went wrong? If Nigeria had continued with that momentum, take it or leave it. Even the United States will fear us more than they fear Iran. Take it from me.
Yeah, I think that debate is going to be more in depth in terms of why we as Africans are not fighting for our land the way we are supposed to. The Zimbabweans didn't back down. They were like,
I really applaud the way you two are speaking. I applaud it deeply because this is the kind of news. I'm sorry to comment on commentators, but this is the kind of interaction that I love because it's real and it focuses our mind, not just in terms of what's happening in Nigeria, but what's happening across the African world and how, when we're speaking on this level, the lines are performed, dots are seen, and then our job is to now join the correct dots together. We will find that given this way of communicate, we will go so far deeper. We'll come out with a document based on the fact that we are more confident as individuals where we are in the world about intellectually what needs to be done from here to the next point. Because every time we're on here, what I recognize is that this is another opportunity for us to speak, really, not, I mean, we play around, you know, we're human and all the rest of it, yes, but speak, because before we are able to hand what it is, our responsibilities as Black men, particularly, is to hand this baton down to the next generation with them with a clearer sense of vision as to the way forward. And it is with us to make these conversations that we have on a weekly, weekend basis as strategic as possible, as mind-felt as possible, as hearty as possible, so that we're offering something. We can't just be here eating our time. I'm sorry to comment, but I salute the two of you for the discussion level that you have shown me today. Thank you.
Thank you. See, the South African situation has left the Black people without much, and what the charade you saw in the Oval Office is basically to bully them, not to fulfill what the Constitution entails, even if the government is trying to do it in an amicable way as much as possible. And I can assure you, they will never give up power. This is 35 years or so after this is the end of apartheid. They still barely have moved anything. They will never move. The idea that these people will concede power in any way peacefully, Zimbabwe had to force it to happen, and we as Africans sell the wrong narrative and say, oh, Zimbabwe has collapsed. No, Zimbabwe has not collapsed. Zimbabwe is actually doing better than Nigeria. Zimbabwe's military, this is the military to civilian ratio is around 300, while Nigeria is heading to 2,000. Zimbabwe's energy generation is 3 to 4 times, fourfold higher than that of Nigeria. So the idea that they are completely dead, even the dead ones, that we are friends with the West. What have we got to show for it?
I agree with you. It is true, Zimbabwe is not dead. But if you compare how the society was up to 1980 and what is obtaining now, this is why I'm saying that this country has collapsed. But that does not mean that a collapsed country cannot rise. China collapsed. In the 50s, Chairman Mao revived China. Iran was not what it is today in the days of the Shah Pahlavi. Turkey is already coming up. Turkey lost the First World War. Between 1914 and now, see what Turkey has become. So if we collapse in Nigeria, it is our duty to revive the country. But if the political class are insisting that they don't want to revive the country, then we better pack it up.
I think in the context of Nigeria, Nigeria cannot collapse. Nigeria is already collapsed in terms of when you look at the resources we have. Our national budget is $28 billion. What else do you need? It's already gone. It's already collapsed. And we are doing that while we are friends with the West. So you have to look at this more rationally. Look at the collapse we described in Zimbabwe is the collapse of the wealth of the white people there. The Black people never had any wealth. That's why it looks like a collapse. They never had anything to go with. From what they described their experience when the white people were dominating the economy and everything, it wasn't their nation.
No, yeah, one problem they have now in South Africa is that white South Africans, just like white Zimbabweans, when they grow tobacco was their main crop. They sell it on the world market and they bank the money in Britain. White South Africans, they dig the gold in what you call Krugersdorp or Denderstros and what have you, the diamonds, the uranium, asbestos. When they sell it on world market, they bank the money in Europe. They don't bank it in the Bank of South Africa. This is the problem the country is also facing.
Yes, it's their money. Let them keep.
Yeah.
If they don't want to share their money, then take your money and go, so that the people can start afresh and build their own country. Because they are not willing to share. We are talking about 30 years at least after apartheid. Nothing has moved. They are not going to move. Make no mistake.
No, excuse me. We should not say nothing has moved. They are doing their very best. Look.
What has moved? I would like to hear it.
As I told you earlier on, when independence came in 1994, I doubt if they had up to 1,000 university graduates, black graduates in the country.
Independence or majority rule?
That is what we are counting, the graduates.
No, excuse me. No, these graduates, they are manning different institutions at the moment, at least administrative jobs, which was completely ruled out during apartheid. Most of the offices in South Africa today are run by the blacks. I remember when a woman in South Africa went to Abuja some time ago, he said the envy Nigeria, that everything from beginning to the end is run by Nigerians. That was a statement she made. Now, this is one of their achievements. As far as administration is concerned, they are not doing badly. And there's what they call RODP houses. I can't remember the meaning of RODP. They build houses for homeless people all over South Africa, provided you have a South African ID. Even you, a Nigerian, if you have a South African ID and you satisfy their conditions, they are likely to give you an RODP house in Johannesburg, Cape Town, or wherever you want to live. So the government, we should not just rule them out completely. We should not rule them out.
I'm not if I can, guys.
I want to just say something.
Forefather, if I can.
No,
please.
Hold on, guys. I think
sorry.
we need to round up and go to the next stream. I just wanted forefathers to come in now.
Yeah, let me just get my submission through. So I'm not ruling them out that Ramaphosa, there are other areas that Ramaphosa has. This is why my scoring of him is out of 100, I will score him 70 in terms of, because he's done some things like during the COVID-19 period. He was the one that argued that Africans should be allowed to manufacture their own vaccines, and he worked with Nigeria, Ghana, I think Senegal, to force the Europeans to allow Africa to manufacture their own vaccine. He also took Israel to court, and geopolitically, that guy has achieved quite a lot of things geopolitically, and he moves shoulder ahead of Nigeria in terms of geopolitically. But in terms of the way he's managing the country's economy, where he's trying to straddle this horse whereby you think you are going to convince them to give you something, I don't think that will happen. And it's never happened before. The only time it happens is when you have power behind, like the way they handed over, this in Hong Kong to China. It's because China is if you don't give them, you're causing war. You sign an agreement, you have to hand it over. These people don't hand over land. Look at the Chagos Island, just small island that has been ruled a long time. It belongs to these people. They uproot the people from the land. It's going to 40, 50 years, and they barely have got it back. Today, they're still arguing with it about it in the UK.
No, forefathers, look at it from this perspective. An industry, an engineering complex is not run by illiterates. No matter your level of ingenuity, you must master the technique of running the industry. South Africa, during apartheid, they were producing firearms, weapons. They had a nuclear reactor, which they are still using up to now at Sasolburg. Nuclear reactor. They were producing motor cars from beginning to, everything. They were producing there in South Africa. When they left, it is not motor mechanics who will go there to run a motor manufacturing company. You need to train
I think maybe you are overstating the difficulty that these things take to get done. Personally, that's how I look at the technology. You can always have a knowledge transfer to be able to run things, or you can just down them and get the knowledge to do it. And most of those things are already down anyway, like the car manufacturing and all the rest that you described. So personally, what I'm trying to say here is that you cannot outsource your ability to own your inheritance to others to decide.
That's right.
You can't leave it to them because they will not grant it until you are ready to do what it takes. I say, you know what? If you don't want to do this amicably, you're going to have trouble. And
the thing
even,
is,
even white people in Zimbabwe, from what I gather, somebody showed it to me, that they are already warning South Africans that they need to allow this land reform that has been encoded into the constitution. They have been blocking it for 30 years. If you don't do it peacefully, what else do you want?
All right. I think you are
remain there for
missing
50
Dr.
years and
Damage
60 years.
Let me just speak for 1 minute.
All right, who is speaking? Is it Dexter?
Dexter, yes. Forefathers. Just 1 minute, please. 1 minute.
Okay, and then
Forefathers. Yes. I think you're not getting the idea. You should try and understand the reasoning of what Mr. James is trying to tell you. The approach you are taking, what you are talking about, is what many African countries have done. And you are repeating the same cycle of mistake that brings nothing. You cannot not be competent. The Congo did it. Look, you cannot not have competency in something. It's like you have a Rolls Royce and a 4-year-old tells you he wants to drive that Rolls Royce. He doesn't know anything about it. Industry, you cannot downplay the importance of having industries and having people that can run the industries. Now, what they're telling you, they're not telling you to leave the white men to run it. What they're telling you, until you are ready to take over position of leadership, if you're not yet prepared, all this will end up the same way many African countries. What will happen is that all those things will, first of all, the system will not function because it's corrupt people that will take over. The masses that are supposed to benefit will not benefit. The wealth will circulate around only few hands. Now, just to bust what you say that Zimbabwe is producing power almost 3 times, 4 times better, higher than what Nigeria is
based
producing.
on their population.
That's
yes.
not, but based on what are they producing on the national
They are about
output?
16 million. They are generating almost 3 gigawatts.
So let me ask you a question. Your power output, is it for your population or for productivity? The UK has a population. Calm down, forefathers. The UK has a population of under 80 million. They produce powers in gigawatts. Is it because of their population is small? They produce power, their output of power is almost 100 times.
Yes.
It's almost 100 times. Why? It's because of a productive economy. Zimbabwe
I
produces,
agree with you on that.
Zimbabwe produces 2,800 megawatts of power. What is that?
Yes.
That is meager. That is what a university.
Hold on, calm down.
In
That
the
is
West will
meager,
produce.
but compared to that of Nigeria's, it's not meager.
Forefathers, you are please compare things in a productive way. You are talking about producing power. When you produce power,
You are
it is so
missing
that you
my
can
point. Nigeria
yeah, I think you're going a bit far.
All right,
If I can come in really quickly,
Zimbabwe can produce
allow me to come in based on what you're saying. You see, what both the conversation was going very, very well, and our brother James,
welcome to the Forefathers Show.
On many issues, but what I found with James's analysis, although it's very good, I think what Forefather is coming from a more expedient analysis, where you have to move, you have to make negotiations correct and accurate. I will put a scenario out of the sky. When South Africa was under apartheid, at the end of it, there were many Nigerian professors that went there to block in for a lot of the education that they were doing there for a good 10 years, 15 years. Many of them, to the point that you have to understand that there are parts of Africa and parts of our diaspora that the South Africans could have brought in to take that transitional position in order for nation. Given 20 years, they're now 35 years. Within a 20-year program, there would have been sufficient education being fostered to Black South Africa that brings them up to this level. But because we're not always together, somebody began by saying that South Africa is a very funny country. And that is very correct. It's another country where they do things in such a way that it's hard to understand why they do it in this archaic way, but there's a much more simple way of doing things. We need to talk.
All right. And if sorry, let me just add this. If let's say you can't write those, you don't have the capacity to use those machines, then the machines will never yours to own. Get rid of it, then build your own. I don't understand why you have to rest on the laurels of foreigners and they will not give it to you. You act as if there's a vacancy there. There's no vacancy there. They are not living.
Yes, no.
You can't force them to give you what they don't want to give you.
Forefathers, look at it this way. Like ESCOM, that's their NEPA. They call it ESCOM. The facilities are already there. the power lines and what have you. Their nuclear reactor at Sassolberg is already functioning. You cannot say you want to demolish everything, then you build another on your own. It's not possible. You get the point? You need highly experienced people to run this. The system was just too advanced for the blacks to take over in 1994.
All right.
And I mentioned Jacob Zuma. Zuma pulled that country backward for almost 2 centuries. His corruption activities. I will send information to Dr. Damages. You see what I'm talking about.
He didn't pull the white people though. The white people were there, can't pay.
All right. For that, we have to
All
go.
right.
Thank you, everyone. All right. Let me thank all those that joined us today. The next stream will start immediately. This one ends. I want to thank those that supported us. Colata, thank you so much. And Alexander Gomez, thank you. Real K, thank you. Superman, thank you. And Oscar Blackbone, thank you. And Ibo Basics. I thank everybody that joined us in the panel. Mr. James, thank you so much. Ike, thank you. Odi, Tony, Jagun, KJ, and so many others who are not here now. Tomorrow on 90 Minutes Africa, we have Dr. Moore Ene joining us. We're going to have a conversation on the way forward for Nigeria as we celebrate another Biafran anniversary. So that's the conversation for tomorrow with Dr. Moore Ene. And as I said, I will see you guys tomorrow, and Forefathers will now take over in the new stream. So please join him to continue the conversation. We have a lot of topics we didn't touch today on this first part of the show. And I think in the second part, you guys can touch on those topics. Niger, for AY4A, thank you so much for supporting us. And James here, we will bring James back as a guest one day, and we have that conversation on South Africa. All right, on behalf of everybody who helped behind the scene, thank you all for being here. I appreciate everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.
Chukuna malugo yo biadi ocha Agaranya chogo kowe bili Agaranya chogo kowe rienio Owe chuku bezie chuku Nuche chukwa busigi fegemeo Nuche chukwa busia ifegemeo Nifo solo ne asi alibazie Oboye bebe agaranya muliba Oboye wuru agaranya mebibe solea Mano agaranya wua Oboye afiozi enipakwa Agaranya chogo kowe bili Agaranya chogo kowe rienio Oboye chikubezi olisa Kodili mako